Welcome back to the channel. This is Trinity Storm, and you are watching first part of What If Naruto Was Saiyan of Unknown Breed. If you enjoy this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Now, wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Naruto Uzumaki was held down on the ground by black rods that went through his hands, back, and legs. Pain, the leader of the Akatsuki, had destroyed Naruto's home when he returned. Naruto was stronger than Pain, but the Rinnegan was too much for him to handle. Pain was about to catch him, but Hinata Hyuga jumped in to help Naruto. Even though he yelled at her to leave, she didn't listen and fought Pain, but she couldn't beat him. Pain looked at Naruto with a black rod and said, "Now you will see real pain." Hinata slowly opened her eyes and spoke as she looked at Naruto. "Naruto-kun, I love you," he said. What Naruto heard shocked him. He saw Pain bring up the black rod. "No, Pain, don't do it." He pleaded, but Pain didn't hear him. He stuck the rod through Hinata, sending blood flying into the air. Naruto's eyes get big when he thinks about what he just saw. Hinata was the girl who put herself in danger to help him. The woman who told him she loved him. The person who loved him the most. Killed right in front of him. From Mindscape. The Kyubi had a big grin on his face and started to let go of his chakra. This was his chance to. He couldn't talk anymore when a bright white energy began to push the demon's chakra back. This made Kyubi angry and surprised at the same time. He was surprised that the boy had some kind of power he had never felt before, and he was angry that he couldn't do anything about it because his chakra kept pushing back. Kyubi sat back and watched to see what would happen next. The world outside. AMV short version of Birth of a God. Naruto started to clench his teeth in anger. "Pain, you heartless jerk," he snarled. Pain didn't apologize, though, and Naruto started to feel anger like he'd never felt before. Gray clouds covered the sky, and blue lightning started to strike around him. Small pebbles started to slowly float around him, and the rods were pushed out of his body and legs, causing him to stand up and clench his fist as he felt his anger building up inside him. Pain's eyebrows drew together. Was this the Kyubi's power? Small rocks started to float around him. "You will pay," Naruto growled. Lightning was still striking around him as his body shook with anger. His hair started to flash from blonde to white, and his eyes went from blue to silver. He clenched his fist tighter, remembering Hinata and his promise to her. A white flash of lightning hit behind him, and he yelled. Pain had to close his eyes because the energy was so strong. When it stopped, his eyes opened a little wider in shock at the Jinchuriki's change. A light that seemed to come from heaven shone down on Naruto. His coat was ruined, and he was wearing his long-sleeve chainmail with the left sleeve torn off to show his muscles. His whole body was covered in a white glow that pulsed with power. His hair and eyebrows were both white, but his hair was spiked up and a few bangs covered his forehead. There were also two long bangs on each side of his face that reached just below his chin. His bright silver eyes snapped open and glared at Pain. "Stop AMV. AMV of Lab Rats and Slim Jim's song, Demigod, 010. What's this? The Kyubi chakra is not this. This is not what I meant." Pain tried to stop Naruto, but he was too fast. Naruto punched Pain in the gut so hard that he spit blood and was thrown high into the air. Nagato, who was in charge of Pain, spit out blood. A woman in an Akatsuki robe with blue hair and a lip piercing ran up to him and asked, "Nagato, what's wrong?" She was worried about her leader, friend. "The Kyubi Jinchuriki is different. He has changed," Nagato gasped. She asked, "Is it the Kyubi chakra?" Nagato gave a nod. "No, it's not that," she said. Back at the battle, Pain stopped in the air, looked up, and saw a Jinchuriki above him. The Jinchuriki then threw punches and kicks at Pain's face, sending him crashing down hard to the ground and making the village shake a little. Konoha 10 had seen the lightings and felt the energy that was moving through the village. Some of the Jonins were nervous, and Sakura could feel the village shake. She asked the summoned slug, "What's going on, Katsuya?" "Naruto-san. He has changed. He saw Hinata stabbed by Pain. She's still alive but she's hurt, she needs medical attention quickly." Urged Katsuya, and Sakura ran off and soon found her. She quickly went and picked her up, bringing her back to the group and laid her down performing her medical jutsu. Everyone looked up and were shocked as they saw Naruto covered in a white aura. Not only was his hair white and spiked up, he was flying. Naruto ran again at Pain, but as soon as he got close, he was pushed back and smashed into the ground. Pain stood up, and Naruto came out of the rocks. He was still covered in the white aura, but he didn't have a scratch on him. He disappeared and then showed up in front of Pain. He started throwing faster punches that Pain could only block for 5 seconds before his defense broke and the punches started hitting him in the face. Naruto hit him with a hard uppercut, sending him back into the air. He then appeared above him and hit him with a double axe handle, sending him even deeper into the ground. Pain looked at the Jinchuriki and knew he had to end this quickly. Naruto ran towards him, and when he was close enough, Pain threw a black chakra ball at him. Pain yelled, "Chibaku Tensai." The Jinchuriki was thrown into the air, and rocks started to fall on him. Soon, he was trapped in a huge satellite. Nagato let out a sigh of relief when he was done, but that didn't last long. The satellite started to shake, a light came out of it, and it was destroyed, which shocked him because he thought it was impossible. Even though Naruto was helpless in the air, he still glared at him. "Impossible, he broke out of the Chibaku Tensai," Nagato said in shock. This surprised the women, too, since Nagato's strongest jutsu was the Chibaku Tensai. Naruto put his hands together behind his back, and a white energy ball started to form. It grew bigger and bigger until it was as big as his giant Rasengan. Naruto shouted as his aura grew stronger, "Pain here is for all the pain you've caused and the lives you've taken." He shouted, "Majestic spiral wave," and thrust his hands forward, sending a strong spiral stream of white energy toward him. Pain put his hand up to take the attack, but to his horror, his arms began to fall apart, and soon his whole body was taken over by the attack, leaving him with nothing. AMV ends at 2:34. Once the attack was over, there was nothing left but a deep hole. Naruto, still in his form, landed on the ground panting. He could feel that Pain's energy was close by, so he went in that direction. Konoha 10 and some of the Jonins were amazed by what they had just seen from Naruto, especially his last attack. Sakura kept healing Hinata, and soon she began to wake up, which was a relief for everyone. Kazuya told them, he did it. Naruto beat the last Pain. Kiba cheered and Akamaru barked in agreement as he said, "I knew he could do it." Hinata slowly got up, smiled, and said to Naruto-kun, "I'm glad you're safe." Neji asked, "Where is he now, Katsuya-sama?" Katsuya tried to feel him and found out that he's going somewhere outside near the forest. No one knew what was going on. Why would he need to go there? Naruto looked everywhere, felt the energy, and found a paper tree. He ripped the entrance open and went inside, where he met a woman and Nagato, the person who was behind Pain. He said, "Just as I thought, Pain was just a puppet, and you were the one pulling the strings." Nagato told them, "Yes, I'm the one behind Pain. My name is Nagato." Naruto walked toward Nagato and said, "Well, I hope you're ready to pay for your sins, Nagato, because I won't be merciful." Nagato fired a spear from his device, but Naruto just smacked it away like it was nothing, which surprised him. The women ran at Naruto, but he was gone, making them look around. As one of the women did so, she felt a kick behind her knee, fell, and was grabbed by the neck. Nagato yelled, "Konan!" in a panic for his friend. Naruto, hold on tighter. "See what it's like to see your friends hurt," he said, holding an energy ball in his hand. "You went so far as to attack my village, my friends, and my home. I should kill you right now for what you did to Hinata, but first I want to know what made you this way." Nagato looked at the boy in silence for a few seconds and explained his story, first with his parents being killed by Konoha shinobis and awakening the Rinnegan, meeting Konan and Yahiko, learning under Jiraiya, Yahiko forming the Akatsuki to bring peace, Hanzo and Root Anbus taking Konan as hostage and Yahiko forcing him, Nagato, to kill him, Yahiko, his plan on why he wanted the tailed beasts. Naruto's energy ball went away, and his hair and eyes went back to how they were before. "Now you know why I did what I did, how I became who I am, and why I did this," Nagato said. "I know about Jiraiya-sensei's plan for peace, but in reality, peace will break and war will start. There will also be times when you lose a friend, and all we can do is bear the pain to remember what we lost and make sure it doesn't happen again." Naruto went on. Nagato asked, "What if you went to war and had to kill to protect your village? Could you handle the weight of knowing you killed a brother, a father, a sister, or a mother?" Naruto closed his eyes and a few seconds later opened them again. "Yes, I will. If I didn't, it would make me unhuman, but as long as I, Naruto Uzumaki, am still alive, I will stop any threat to the time of peace, even if it kills me, he said. This made Nagato open her eyes wide and laugh for the first time in a long time. Naruto Uzumake, I'm glad I met you. Outer Patha Samsara of Heavenly Life Technique. He called out, and soon the King of Hell rose up and let the souls of the dead ninjas go. Nagato no. Conan got up and ran to him. Nagato slowed down his breathing and said, Conan, I'm glad I met you. Yahiko, you now carry his legacy in you. Please raise him well. Naruto, before I leave, you must know that the real leader of the Akatsuki is the man in the orange mask. Stop him at all costs. I put my faith in you, Naruto Uzumaki. Nagato's eyes went dark, and she was gone. Conan cried quietly, and Naruto looked down and clenched his fist. The energy he felt started to rise again, and he knew that the real leader was to blame. He kept his cool and saw Conan wrap Nagato's body in papers. He walked toward her, but just in case, he kept his guard up. He asked, what did Nagato do? Still, she looked at Nagato's body. He used a jutsu that would bring the people of Konoha back to life, but it killed him in the process. He asked, what will you do now? Now that the Akatsuki is over, I will bury Nagato, she said. He said, why don't you stay in Konoha? I'm sure I can talk to Ba-chan about letting you stay, and I can't let you wander around by yourself now that you're pregnant. Conan looked down and thought about whether or not she should go. But Yahiko's name was on her, and she was asked to raise him well. She thought about it and said, okay, I'll come, but please let me bury Nagato first. He nodded. Grand Zeno's palace. 2 of the 12 gods of destruction stood up and sweated bullets because they were nervous. They were in front of an alien boy who was sitting on a throne. He was very short and small, and his head was shaped like an oval. His skin is mostly sky blue, but there are 2 purple spots on both sides of his head, from his ears to the middle of each eye. He has small round eyes and small gray ears that are round and small. His main outfit is a coat with a pink and yellow lining, yellow pants, and pink shoes. Underneath, he wears a black and white shirt with the kanji for all. Zeno-sama, king of the 12 universes, did this. The 2 gods of destruction were purple cats, but one was skinny and the other was fat. They wore the same clothes, but the skinny one wore blue and the fat one wore red. Beerus, the god of the end of the universe 7. Champa, god of the end of the universe, number 6. Their angels were standing next to them. One angel next to Beerus was a man holding a long blue scepter with a gem floating on top of it in his right hand. A big light blue ring hangs around his neck. He wears a maroon robe, a black cuirass decorated with white and orange diamonds like Beerus's, and a blue sash. He also wears black shoes with white soles and high heels. This was Whis, an angel of Universe 7 who helped Beerus. The other angel with Champa was a tall woman with pale blue skin, violet eyes, and long white hair, just like Whis, but she wore it in a high ponytail. In her right hand, she holds a long, red scepter on which a gem floats. A big light blue ring hangs around her neck. She wears green robes, a black cuirass with white and orange circle designs like Champa's, and a red sash. She also wears white shoes with black soles and high heels. This was Vados, Whis' older sister. Whis works for Champa and is an angel of Universe 6. Besides Zeno, there was a short male angel with blue skin, white hair that was slicked back, and thin eyebrows that were shaped like hooks. A blue halo floats above his head on its own. His clothes are a dark blue long-sleeved shirt with baggy shoulder pads that goes under a red belt with the kanji character for great. The shirt goes with a pair of baggy pants in the same color and white boots that go down to his shins. This man was the Grand Minister. He was the father of Whis and Vados and Zeno-sama's advisor. Welcome, friends, and thank you all for coming, said the Grand Minister. Zeno-sama just found something between the North and South galaxies. The gods and angels were shocked by this. Whis asked, shouldn't the Kais have told us about this Grand Minister before? The Grand Minister nodded and said, hi, but the energy Zeno-sama felt didn't come from anywhere. I was told where it came from, and to our surprise, it came from a place we haven't heard from in centuries, Universe 0. The 2 gods were confused because they had never heard a Universe 0 before. Vados asked, but, Grand Minister, didn't both of those races die out? The minister nodded and said, hi, but it looks like one has survived a majestic Saiyan. The answer shocked the 2 destroyers because they had never heard of another universe, besides their own, with Saiyans or even a majestic Saiyan. We followed the energy further, and it led us to a place called the Element Nations, which are ruled by ninjas or shinobis. Like the other universes, they have energy that is similar to ki, but they call it chakra. A village called Konohagakure was being attacked by a man named Pain, who claimed to be a god. A young teen boy named Naruto Uzumaki fought against Pain, and to our surprise, he was able to. Beerus was interested, and to Vidos's surprise, Champa was too. The next scene showed Naruto watching an enemy kill a girl. He started to change into a Saiyan, but instead of having gold hair, teal eyes, and a gold aura, he had white hair, silver eyes, and a white aura. The destroyers were impressed by how strong the boy was. Whis was now interested in him, and Vados blushed a little at how he looked. Then, they saw the boy pick up the man and fire a spiral energy beam at the man, which killed him and ended the battle. The Grand Minister said, "I know you both have questions about this, so I'll explain. In the past, there were two types of Saiyans in Universe Zero, the regular Saiyans and the majestic Saiyans. The majestic Saiyans were the strongest and lived on their own planet, Sadala. The regular Saiyans were jealous of their power, so they went to war with them and killed both of them. Zeno-sama's plan was to. Zeno-sama said, "He is strong, so I've decided to call him the god of destruction of Universe Zero." The gods and their angels were shocked. The Grand Minister nodded and said, "Hi, Zeno-sama wants the boy to be a god of destruction, but he doesn't know how. That's why Zeno-sama is giving you both a chance to train this boy since you both have Saiyans of your own, but only one of you will be chosen." Both gods of destruction turned and gave each other a cold look. "Now then," said the Grand Minister. The two gods stood up and looked at him. The minister asked Champa-san, "Why do you think you should train the boy to be god of destruction?" Champa stepped forward and bowed. "Grand Minister, after seeing how strong the boy was, I'm sure I'd be the best person to train him. I've trained some of the strongest fighters in my universe, including a couple of Saiyans. Hit the Assassin and Caulifla the female Saiyan are the strongest in Universe 6, and they would be a great challenge for him to grow stronger." He gave Beerus a nod and looked at him. "Why do you want to train the boy to be god of destruction, Beerus-san?" Beerus stepped forward and bowed. "Grand Minister, the boy is strong, and he might be able to become a god of destruction. As for why I should train him, I've recently taken Goku and Vegeta under my wing. They're the strongest fighters in Universe 7, and they've both reached a form called Super Saiyan Blue, which can challenge a god of destruction. Goku also has a form called Super Saiyan God, which..." The Grand Minister gave Zeno-sama a nod and looked at him. Zeno-sama was thinking about it, but both gods had already made a choice. Zeno said, "You both have good reasons, but there can only be one. So, the one that will be chosen is..." Beerus and Champa both took deep breaths and sweated bullets, while the angels looked calm but were wondering who Zeno-sama would pick. Zeno smiled a little. Beerus. Beerus was surprised and sighed, and Champa was angry on the inside but had to act calm in front of Zeno-sama so he wouldn't look like a fool. "I hope you don't make me regret my decision," Zeno said in a serious tone without a smile, which made Beerus sweat bullets. He gave a deep bow and said, slightly nervously, "I won't let you down, Zeno-sama." The Grand Minister told everyone to be quiet. Beerus talked while he and Whis were walking. "Whis, why have I never heard of a majestic Saiyan?" asked Beerus, who was a little annoyed. "To be fair, Beerus-sama, you never asked me, and the Grand Minister said we thought they had died out long ago in the war," Whis said, which was true. Beerus grunts in irritation, but this was still a chance for him to train another Saiyan. If this majestic Saiyan is strong and studied under him, the boy will give Vegeta and Goku a challenge that will help them get stronger, once the boy becomes a destroyer and Goku can keep up. Beerus might get the challenge he's been waiting for. "How long will it take to get their Whis going at light speed?" asked Beerus. Whis looked at the gem on his scepter and said, "Exactly 5 minutes and 42 seconds, Beerus-sama." Beerus was happy. "Good, I hate long rides, please take us to their Whis." Whis bowed and said, "As you wish, Beerus-sama." He tapped his scepter on the ground, and the stones glowed white and disappeared. The Konohagakure. 2 days had passed since the attack, and people in Konoha began to fix up their homes, shops, and other places. Naruto Uzumaki, or the savior of Konohagakure, as people now call him, was walking around the town to check out the places. He was thanked by many adults and flirted with by many teens and older girls. Kids would come up to him and tell him they want to be as strong as he was. He smiled and told them that no matter what, they should always work hard and never give up. Even though he looked different today, he noticed in the morning that his hair was a little bit longer and that his muscles had grown, and not so much that he looked like a musclehead, but enough to make him stronger. He was wearing different clothes, but his headband was still around his head. He wore an orange tunic with no sleeves and a long-sleeved black shirt underneath. He also wore orange cargo pants and black shinobi sandals. When he got to the memorial stone, he got on his knees and saw the name of his sensei, Jiraiya the Toad Sage. Naruto smiled in a sad way. Even though he and Jiraiya were usually at each other's throats, they cared for each other over the years they trained together. It wasn't a teacher-student relationship, but more like a father-son relationship, which was something he had always wanted. He shut his eyes and said a prayer. When he felt a huge amount of energy come from behind him, they flew open. He got up slowly and quickly turned around to see a purple humanoid cat and a tall blue humanoid man with a scepter and a blue ring around his neck standing next to him. He was on guard and asked, "Who are you and what do you want here?" Whis bowed and said, "We don't want to hurt you, Naruto-san." Naruto thought about it and started to relax a little bit. He asked again, "Who are you, and how do you know my name?" Whis said, "Like I told Naruto-sama, my name is Whis. I'm the Angel of Universe 7, and Beerus-sama is the God of Destruction of Universe 7. Naruto didn't understand what was going on. Angel? Planet 7? God of Destroyer? He looked at the cat carefully and could feel the energy wave that had made him sweat. Naruto thought, this guy's energy is just crazy, and he's not even putting out chakra. Beerus stepped forward and said, as Whis said, I'm the God of Destruction, or a Destroyer for short. We're here because it has to do with you. Then he looked at Whis and nodded. Whis tapped his scepter on the ground, and everything stopped moving, which made Naruto gasp. Whis started to tell him about the 12 universes, the 12 gods of destruction, the Majestics, and the war between regular Saiyans. The 12 universes, the Destroyers, Universe Zero and the Saiyans all made Naruto's jaw drop. Naruto felt like he had been hit in the gut when he found out he was not human but an alien race. He began to shake, but he clenched his fist and took a deep breath, which helped him calm down. Whis told Naruto, Zeno-sama, who is the king of 12 universes, was interested in your skills and called you the god of destruction. This completely shocked Naruto. But the Grand Minister thinks you don't know enough to be a destroyer. With Zeno-sama's permission, he has asked Beerus-sama and me to teach you what you need to know to become one. Naruto couldn't believe he was going to be trained by a god. He knew from his fight with Nagato that he still needed to work on his skills. He only lasted a while against Nagato because he was in Sage mode, and his majestic Super Saiyan form won the battle. He knew that he couldn't always depend on just those two. He asked, when do you think we can start? Beerus smiled and said, good. Now would be the best time. Naruto said, wait, I still need to check in with my friends and the Hokage. He didn't want to give them the wrong idea by calling them Ba-chan, even though it sounded weird. Beerus looked like he was thinking. I don't know if we're wasting time. Do you have good food? Asked the destroyer. Naruto raised an eyebrow, but then a thought came to him and he broke out in a big smile. He said, I know just the place, which got them both interested. Ichiraku Ramen. The destroyer was sitting calmly on a stool with Whis while Naruto smiled with excitement. When most of the people saw Beerus and Whis, they thought they were henges. So, you're saying that this Ichiraku has the best ramen, right? The destroyer was asked. Oh yeah, I'm sure you'll love it. Naruto gave him his word. The food was brought to them by Ayame, the daughter of the Tuchi's owner. Okay, boys, here's one Uzumaki special for each of you. Ayame gave them food. Beerus smiled when he smelled the food. I have to say that it smells good. He spoke. 3 people took their chopsticks. Thank you, in Japanese as itadakimasu. The 3 people said, and the chopsticks broke when they dug in. Naruto was smiling as he ate his tasty ramen. When he looked over at Beerus and Whis, he could tell they liked it by the way Beerus slurped his ramen. This ramen is the best I have ever had. Beerus was happy to hear that. I have to say, Naruto-san, that this is lovely. Remarked Whis. Naruto smiled when he heard his name called and saw Kiba walking behind him with his big dog Akamaru. There you are, the gangs have been looking for you, and... Kiba stopped when he saw a tall blue man and a cat that looked like a person. Kiba got close to Naruto and said, Naruto, why is this guy a cat? He spoke quietly. Beerus's ears twitched when he heard what was going on, and he let out a tiny bit of energy that slightly shook the village, which scared everyone. Luckily, Whis poked him in the ribs to stop him, and they went back to eating. What was that? Kiba was asked about the short earthquake. I'm not so sure, maybe it was just an aftershock. Naruto was right. Kiba forgot about the two people and thought of something else. Hey, Naruto, you need to hear this. What did Inuzuka say? Kiba told Naruto, Tsunade is in a coma. Naruto listened. The answer made him feel sick to his stomach. What? What about Shizune and Sakura? Why can't they heal her? He wanted. Kiba saddeningly shook his head and said, Sakura told us. She and Shizune tried everything they could, but nothing worked. They don't know if she'll ever wake up again. Naruto's world fell apart when another important person to him got hurt and he couldn't help. There's more, Kiba said. The daimyo had arrived and met with the councils. My mother told me that they were talking about a new Hokage and that a man named Danzo Shimaru had put himself forward. I heard her growl when she said his name, so I knew he was bad news. The decision is about to be made. Naruto's energy flared and he took off without noticing. When Whis and Beerus were done eating, they decided to follow him. Meeting room. The civilians, the 7 clan leaders, and the 3 elders got together and sat down in front of the daimyo. The new Hokage had already been chosen. Since Tsunade is no longer useful, a Rokuden must be chosen. I declare this after many talks. When the daimyo heard noise outside, he was cut off. Soon, the door was smashed open by an Anbu, and Naruto came in. What does he mean, Naruto Uzumaki? There's no reason for you to be here. Kaharu yelled. Naruto ignored the old woman and gave Danzo a dirty look. Danzo Shimaru, you are the cause of all this destruction. The Akatsuki is what it is today because of what you did. His anger was getting worse, and his hair was again going from blonde to white. Excuse me, young man, but could you tell me your name? The fire daimyo was asked. Naruto made a deep bow. I'm sorry, daimyo-sama, for being rude and talking over you. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm the last student of Jiraiya the Toad Sage. I saved Konoha, and I'm sorry I talked over you. Oh, I see. You're the famous Naruto Uzumaki that everyone talks about. Tell us, Naruto-san, what do you mean when you say Danzo-san caused the Konoha to fall? Naruto had started to tell Nagato's story about how Danzo had made a deal with Hanzo the Salamander and sent his root Anbus to kidnap Konan and kill Yahiko. Everyone was shocked by the story, except for the elders and an arrogant, fat civilian. This made the daimyo frown. These are very serious charges. Naruto-sama, do you have proof? Questioned the daimyo. Naruto was about to answer, but then he said, I might be able to help with that. Everyone turned around and was shocked to see a tall blue man with human features and a purple cat with human features standing next to him. Who are you? What right do you civilians have to be here? You have no business being here, but you think you can just walk in? Beerus was tired of the fat man's mouth, so he just pointed one finger at him. The fat man started to worry when the man started to glow light purple and fall apart. What's going on, and what did you do to me? The man screamed. Whis smiled and said, that wasn't the best way to talk to Beerus-sama. The fat man screamed, and when he stopped, he was gone. This had surprised everyone on the councils, even the daimyo. Whis bowed and said, I'm sorry for what you saw. Let me explain. My name is Whis, and I'm an angel and Beerus-sama's servant. Of course, God of Destruction is standing next to me. He started with. The name, God of Destruction, made the shinobi nervous, but they didn't question it after seeing what the man did to the fat fool. Danzo had tried to control the destroyer with his hidden Sharingan, but nothing happened, which made him curse. Lord Daimyo. I can confirm what Naruto said, look. Whis said this, and the picture came out of the orb on his scepter. Soon, a video showed that Danzo met with Hanzo and made a deal with him. The root Anbu taking Konan away, Yahiko dying, and Nagato getting angry. The video ended, and now all of the shinobi were mad at the one-eyed jerk and were glaring at him. The daimyo narrowed his eyes and looked at the Danzo. Danzo Shimaru, do you want to say something? Asked the daimyo a question. Danzo tried to think of a reason why he did what he did, but nothing came to mind. This wasn't supposed to happen. I see. I'll think again about making you Hokage, Shimaru-san. The daimyo said in a cold voice, which made Danzo jerk away. But then, daimyo, who will be Hokage? asked Hamaru, the older man. I might have an idea. Whis said again, drawing attention. Akatsuki's hiding place. Tobi, whose real name is Madara Uchiha, was sitting on a rock and listening to Zetsu. So, Pain lost, right? Madara asked, which Zetsu nodded. There's more. It looks like the Jinchuriki didn't use the Kyubi chakra to beat Pain. Zetsu said, which threw Madara off. Tell me. Zetsu told Madara about how he turned into a Jinchuriki after seeing a friend die and how he used that energy to defeat Pain. Madara was shocked by this because he had never heard of anything like it, and if what Zetsu said was true, this could be harder. And who is the Hokage? Madara was asked. They are still deciding who it will be. Speculation says it's probably Danzo, though. The plant man said. Madara's eye lit up when he heard that. It looked like the right time to start making his plans. Konan isn't coming back, and we need another pawn to sync with the Gedo Mazo. Zetsu told him. Madara was quiet for a moment while he thought about what to do next. He then looked at Kisame. Kisame, go get the Hachibi. I have things to do. Zetsu, keep an eye on what's going on in Konoha and with the Kyubi Jinchuriki. Verify that Danzo is the Hokage, and then come find me. He put in his order and left in a whirlwind. Soon, the world will start a new era of peace that he will be in charge of. Konoha. Naruto led Whis and Beerus to a tent where Shizune was working on an old woman named Tsunade who was lying in bed. When Shizune saw Naruto and the two people behind him, she was shocked. Don't worry, Shizune, this is Whis. He is going to heal the Hokage. Naruto promised. Whis walked toward Tsunade while holding his scepter over her. He focused on her as a green light began to shine around her, and she began to change back into her younger self. Tsunade groaned and opened her eyes. Shizune, Naruto, a tall man with blue skin, and a cat were there. Okay, I must be dreaming. She tried to sit up, and Shizune cried while she was in his arms. This made Naruto smile. He looked at the angel, bowed, and said, thank you. Whis ignored it. Naruto, what's going on, and who are these two? Tsunade said. He turned to Whis and asked her if he could tell her everything. Whis had introduced himself to Beerus and started to tell her the same things he had told Naruto, about the universe, the destroyers, and the majestic Saiyans. Tsunade was just same reaction as Naruto. She knew Minato and Kushina were his parents but an alien race. Well, she figured Minato was different since he was strong and fast than any other shinobis she's ever known. Hell, she remembers the time she made a bet with him at arm wrestling and well. Let's just say she lost lots of money. Tsunade was considered to be the strongest shinobi behind the Raikage and she couldn't believe she had lost. With the king's permission, Beerus-sama will train Naruto-sama to be a god of destruction for Universe Zero. When she heard this, both Tsunade and her apprentice's jaws dropped. She said, Shizune, please tell me you have sake. Still shocked, Shizune said, hi. Alright, give me a drink. Tsunade knew she was going to get a headache. Shizune would usually say no, but she could also use a drink, so she served a cup. If it's okay with you, I'd like a drink too. Beerus said it, and Shizune looked at Sunday, who just shrugged and said it was okay. Beerus was given the drink and saw how quickly Tsunade drank it. He smelled it and took a sip, which made him cough. Too powerful. Tsunade smiled, and Whis laughed. When Beerus was okay, he shook his head. Well, never mind. I will teach the boy how to control his newfound power in the way of the destroyer. Naruto came to help. Sama Hokage. There's more you should know, he told her, which surprised her. He told her about his fight with Nagato and how he found out who the real leader of the Akatsuki was. Tsunade was thinking about a lot of things. With the true leader of the Akatsuki still out there and 8 of the tailed beasts in custody, Naruto was not safe. I really want to go. When she heard from Naruto, she was shocked and looked at him. Naruto said, this is a great chance for me to get stronger. If I can learn how to control my new powers, I can end the Akatsuki for good. Then I'll look for Sasuke. He took a look down. Whis and Beerus gave each other a quick glance. Tsunade looked at the boy she had raised. She let out a sigh and shut her eyes. Okay, fine. I'll let you go. He looked up and thought he would have to do more to get her to agree. Before you leave, I need to talk to both of you, she said. Naruto, go find your friends and tell them I'm sending you on a secret mission to train, no questions asked. He went outside. When she was by herself, she asked, "What is a destroyer's job?" She did. It's the job of destroyers to keep an eye on their universe. If there are any threats or races that put their universe in danger, destroyers will get rid of them, even if it means destroying a planet, Whis said. This makes Tsunade's eyes widen. Yes, it seems cruel, but shinobi have been doing the same thing for a long time, am I right? Whis said what was true. Tsunade didn't even argue, she just sighed and knew it was all true. Every village is always afraid of power, like Kumo and Iwa were when they killed the Uzumaki clan because they were afraid of their fuinjutsu. Was she making the right choice to let Naruto go? Naruto-san has the potential to be a god of destruction, which I think this universe might need, said Whis. Shizune poured Tsunade a drink as she thought about what she wanted to say. She knows Naruto was a smart, kind-hearted kid, but does he really have what it takes to be a destroyer? Where will you be? She asked Whis. She said. Beerus replied, he'll be on my planet, where time goes by so quickly that a week of training would be like a day here. This made Tsunade feel bad. As she looks at the two, she nods. Take care of him, please. Tsunade asked Whis, and she got out of bed, turned to Beerus, and gave him a hard look. I'll warn you, she said, if I find out something bad has happened to him, god or not. She didn't follow through on the threat and let out a small amount of green chakra. Beerus narrowed his eyes, but when he saw that she wasn't scared, he smiled. He'll be okay, I can promise you that, Hokage-sama. Before Beerus could say anything, Whis said, cut him. Naruto was walking back after telling his friends about his training mission. He saw Whis and Beerus and remembered how sad Hinata looked and how he had promised to come back. It looks like we should leave then. Beerus told us. Okay, let's go for it. Naruto spoke up. Whis, take us away, said Beerus. Do what you want, Beerus-sama. Whis hit the ground with his scepter and the three were gone. Home planet of Beerus. The shockwave made the planet shake a little bit, and loud bangs could be heard. Whis just stood there and watched as two speed blurs hit each other, disappeared, and then reappeared. Naruto and Beerus appeared in the air as they continued to punch and block each other. It looks like Naruto has learned a lot in a short amount of time. His speed has gotten a lot better. When he first fought Beerus-sama, he used something he called Sage Mode to keep up with him. But when he goes Majestic Super Saiyan, it seems like he takes Beerus-sama to a new level. Not only that, but the more he uses it, the more it changes his body until he can keep up with Beerus-sama when he is not using it. Even though Beerus-sama was only using 3% of his power, it was still pretty amazing. The two fighters fell to the ground, but they kept throwing punches at each other. Time was almost up on the hourglass. Whis told him, that's enough. The destroyer and his student stopped and stepped back, bowing to each other. I'm impressed. You can keep up with me for a few minutes without going into your Majestic Super Saiyan mode. When we first fought I only used 3% of my power against you in your Sage mode, but with your Majestic Saiyan mode I had to increase my power by 5 more percent, but now, weeks later, you can push me to the point where I have to use 30% of my power, and that's again. Naruto wore the clothes he had on when he left the village. There were only a few small tears, which Whis can't fix. Naruto has learned a lot from training with Beerus. First, he had to learn how to use his ki energy as a weapon and to fly. Then he learned how to control his Majestic Super Saiyan mode. At first, his taijutsu wasn't very good, but Beerus helped him learn destroyer martial arts. He had been wearing black weight bracelets that each weighed 5 tons and black boots that also weighed 5 tons for weeks. When he's used to them, Whis will make them heavier. Naruto's stomach growled because it was almost time to eat. He had to eat a lot more food because he was a Saiyan. He was lucky that Whis brought back a dozen ramens from Ichiraku for him and Beerus, who liked them a lot. Him, Beerus, and Whis were sitting cross-legged with big cups of ramen in front of them. They waited for the timer on the hourglass to run out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The sand in the hourglass ran out. Whis said, all right, gentlemen, it's time for your reward. They both had big smiles on their faces and opened the top. When they smelled it, it made their mouths water. They took their chopsticks and broke them in half, then said, itadakimasu, and started eating. Beerus was just taking long slurps of the noodles as Naruto kept eating his ramen. He ate what was on his plate. "Thanks for bringing me some ramen from Ichiraku Whis," Naruto told the angel. "Don't worry, Naruto, at least someone likes it," Whis said as he gave Beerus a small glare. Beerus heard the comment as he ate his noodles. "Thanks, Whis, for bringing me some ramen. Are you happy?" asked Beerus in a slightly annoyed tone. Whis made a funny face. Naruto asked as he slurped his noodles, "So, how strong are these Saiyans Goku and Vegeta?" He had been thinking about Universe 7 Saiyans ever since Beerus told him about them. Whis spoke as he showed a picture of a short man with tall, spiky hair who was wearing blue spandex and a chest armor from the gem in his scepter. First, there's Vegeta, whose father was the king of planet Vegeta before it was destroyed. He worked for an alien overlord named Frieza, and he and his partner, another Saiyan named Nappa, went to Earth to destroy it, but Goku stopped them. He said this as Naruto watched a picture of Vegeta fighting Goku and losing. Since then, they have been rivals. At first, Vegeta was too proud to admit that Goku was stronger than him, but that changed after Goku beat Majin Buu, his toughest opponent. Naruto saw Goku, who looked very different, standing in front of a pink monster with long, spiky gold hair. Vegeta has always trained in any way he could to beat Goku. It was amazing to see him hold his own against Beerus-sama and land a few hits when Goku couldn't do that the first time they fought. Naruto was impressed. He knew this guy sounded like Sasuke because they were both proud, but he sounded strong, and being able to hit a destroyer a few times was impressive. Then he saw a picture of a man with a silly smile and wild black hair. He wore a loose, traditional orange gi that was held together at the left side of his waist by a blue obi tied in a knot. He also wore blue wristbands that went almost all the way around his forearms and blue boots that closed in front of his shins. On the other hand, Goku was sent to Earth before planet Vegeta was destroyed. He was found by an old man named Gohan, and as he grew up, he faced many powerful enemies. As an adult, he learned of his Saiyan heritage from his brother Raditz, who was working to destroy Earth, but it cost him his life. But even after he died, he was able to train with the one person who could help him get ready to fight Vegeta and his partner, Whis said. Naruto asked, "Who?" "The Northern Kai. Goku only had to learn a little about them to beat Vegeta and Nappa," Whis said and went on. "Goku, his son Gohan, and their friend Krillin were on a mission to get the Namekian Dragon Balls back," Whis said. "I'm sure you remember that now that we've talked about it." Naruto nodded as he thought about how he had talked to Whis and learned about other worlds, life forms, and universes, including the Dragon Balls. Boy, he'd be happy to have ramen for the rest of his life. Whis continued, but they didn't know that Frieza was also looking for the Dragon Balls. During their fight, Frieza was able to survive one of Goku's most powerful moves, the Spirit Bomb. Naruto saw an image of Frieza. From what he could see, Frieza didn't look like much, but Naruto knew he wasn't easy to beat. As Frieza fought Goku, Naruto was amazed by the Spirit Bomb Goku threw at him. Frieza then killed Goku's best friend Krillin, which made Goku feel very angry and caused him to turn into a Super Saiyan. This is the end of the story. After seeing his best friend die, Goku got so angry that he turned into a Super Saiyan, which Naruto saw. Naruto would have asked more, but the image had changed to show his old friend Sasuke fighting his sensei Kakashi. "What the hell, Whis sensei? What's going on?" Naruto asked as he watched the fight. Whis said, "It looks like Tsunade-sama was invited to a meeting with the other leaders, but your old friend Sasuke Uchiha attacked everyone there for some reason." Naruto's eyes were big, and he couldn't understand what Sasuke was doing. Does he know that doing this would make him an international criminal? He thought he was smart, but this is the dumbest thing he's ever done. Naruto looked at Beerus and said, "Sensei, I know it's against the rules, but please let me go back." "Okay," said Beerus. Naruto was surprised by how simply his sensei answered, but he didn't argue. Beerus said, "Whis, take us to the battle, please," and then spit out the word, "please." "As you wish, Beerus-sama." Whis bowed and tapped his staff as the three glowed and disappeared. During the battle, Sakura was about to stab Sasuke from behind, but she stopped when she remembered Team 7. Sasuke turned around, grabbed her by the throat, and took the kunai from her hand. Kakashi ran to save her, but he was too far away. Sasuke pulled back the kunai. "Sasuke, don't do it." Kakashi begged as he tried to get moving faster. Then, Sasuke went for a slash. Everything moved slowly, but as the kunai got close, someone grabbed his arm and stopped him. He turned around to see who it was, and to his slight surprise, it was his old friend Naruto Uzumaki, the one he had sworn to kill one day. But something was different about him, and it wasn't just his clothes. Naruto hit Sasuke in the chest with his left hand, sending him flying across the water and into the earth wall. Sasuke fell to his knees coughing blood, but he got back up and glared at Naruto. Beerus and Whis were up in the air and looking down. Sakura was shocked when she saw Naruto and what he had just done. Kakashi was glad Naruto saved Sakura, but he was too surprised by his student's strength to be happy about it. Naruto said in a calm voice, "It's been a while, old friend. I didn't expect to see you like this." As Naruto talked, Sasuke stood up and wiped the blood out of his mouth. "You know that you were always known as the smartest person in our class and the prodigy. But when I saw you attack 5 cages, I became angry. I guess it's out of the question for you to be smart," Naruto teased with no smile at all. "How dare he," thought Sasuke, gritting his teeth in anger. Naruto looked at Sasuke's robe and said, "I see you joined the Akatsuki, too." He added, again, not the best choice. While Naruto told Sakura to move, Sasuke charged. He used one arm to block Sasuke's punch, but Sasuke wasn't done and tried to low sweep him, but he jumped over it and kept blocking Sasuke's punches and kicks. When Naruto had had enough, he just slapped away the punch and gave Sasuke a jumping back kick, which sent him skidding on the water and made him stop. How was this possible? How was the Dobi so strong? He made the hand signs, Kaiten, Gukakyu no Jutsu, and then blew out 3 huge fireballs. Naruto had just lazily dodged 2 fireballs and was standing still when he saw another one coming at him. Sakura and Kakashi yelled at him to move, but he didn't listen, and the fire soon engulfed him. "It's Naruto." The two of them screamed in horror, which made Sasuke happy, but then the fire exploded, and Naruto turned into his majestic Super Saiyan form and glared at Sasuke. Naruto said, "So, after all these years, you've decided to forget everything we've done as a team for some small revenge," which made Sasuke angry. He yelled, "Shut up, you don't understand anything," and charged Naruto with his Chikudo while Naruto just dodged the attacks. "He dodges my attacks like they're nothing, but that's because he's a loser, Adobe." Sasuke was furious. He jumped back and thrust his left arm out, saying, "Chidori Spear." A beam of lightning chakra shot toward Naruto, who stood still and just grabbed the chakra spear. He yelled, letting out his ki energy, which broke the chakra lightning beam and caused him to disappear. Sasuke was shocked to see his old friend turn into a monster. He didn't have time to react before Naruto appeared in front of him, kneed him in the stomach, and punched him into the air. Naruto disappeared and then appeared above Sasuke. He hit a double axe handle, sending Sasuke into the water. Sakura stood off to the side and watched Naruto handle Sasuke like a ragdoll. She was amazed as he changed, but what surprised her the most was that Naruto was really flying. Kakashi was just watching the fight, and he was just as surprised by Naruto's change as Sakura was. He's even faster than Guy, and he might even be able to fly. Where on earth did he learn to fly? Sasuke exploded out of the water in his giant purple Susanoo form and yelled, "I'm done with you, Uzumaki. You won't make a fool out of me." His Susanoo form turned into a bow and arrow, and he pulled the arrow back. Naruto decided to try and use the Hakai, even though he couldn't use its full power. He put his left arm out in front of him with the palm facing forward, and he closed his eyes. It looks like Naruto is going to try to use Hakai. "What do you think, Beerus-sama?" asked the angel to the destroyer. Beerus didn't take his eyes off the fight as he said, "Naruto is just playing with him. It's the same thing I do when I'm challenged. Naruto knows he can easily kill this Sasuke." Sasuke Susanoo shot the bow at the white-haired Saiyan with a lot of speed. Naruto's eyes shot open, and he yelled, "Hakai." As the arrow hit his hand, it slowly turned purple and broke up into nothing. Sasuke couldn't believe what he had just seen. When the white-haired Saiyan showed up in front of him, he started throwing punches like crazy, which started to hurt Susanoo a little. He had no choice but to give up on Susanoo. But Naruto didn't stop attacking. He hit Sasuke in the face and body, and then with a hard headbutt, he split Sasuke's head open and sent him back across the water. Naruto walked toward Sasuke and just looked at him with sadness. It could have been different, Sasuke. None of this would have happened. You had everything a shinobi could want: appearance, money, jutsus, girls, and it still wasn't enough. What would Itachi say now? he asked, making Sasuke give him a deadly look. Sasuke stood up and turned on his Chidori while still staring at his old friend. If it's the last thing I do, I'm going to kill you, Naruto. Sasuke yelled as he ran towards him in a rage. As he made his final choice, Naruto looked down and felt sad. He remembered what Whis had said about being a destroyer and taking care of any threat to the universe. He had planned to take the masked man, but when he found out that Sasuke was helping him, he realized that Sasuke was part of the threat to the universe. Sasuke pulled his arm back and thrust it forward, but Naruto grabbed it. This made Sasuke sad. Naruto gave Sasuke a cold look when he looked up at him. Naruto said in a cold voice, "I'm sorry, Sasuke, but if I let you live, innocent people will be hurt, and I can't let that happen." He pulled his right arm back, and a white glass-like sword energy formed around his right forearm and up to his hand. He needs to remember to thank Whis, since it was Whis who told him that majestic Saiyans can shape their ki energy into weapons. Naruto said, "Goodbye, old friend," and thrust his arm forward, but the blade went through Sasuke's body as he was sucked into a vortex. "I think that's enough," said a monotone voice. When he narrowed his eyes, he saw the man in the orange mask who Nagato had told him was the real leader. Naruto said, "So you're the real leader of the Akatsuki," and he stopped being a majestic Saiyan. "You're right, boy. The last time we met, I was Tobi, but as you can see, that was just a ruse. I am Madara Uchiha, the real leader of the Akatsuki, the former leader of the Uchiha clan, and the most powerful shinobi alive." "That can't be Madara Uchiha. Our Shodem Hokage killed him in the Valley of the End," Kakashi said. "That would have been true, but the story was wrong, as you can see," said Madara. Zetsu appeared next to him. Sasuke came out of the swirling vortex panting on his knees, and Karen went to stand next to him. He told Karen to heal Sasuke's wounds and make sure his chakra was back to normal as the two of them disappeared again into the swirling vortex. "Madara, look at the Saiyan who is blonde. You've made quite a name for yourself, Naruto Uzumaki. You're known as the hero of Konoha. I have to admit that I'm interested in your new power. Being able to beat Pain is impressive, but of course, he couldn't understand the true power of the Rinnegan. He didn't say anything, just glared at Naruto. I gave the Kages the option to hand over the Hachibi and Kyubi, but they were too stupid to do so. Madara told the Saiyan, now you have a choice. You can either give up and come peacefully, or you can kill your friends and sensei and I will take you by force." Beerus tried to be quiet, but he couldn't help laughing out loud. This made everyone look up in shock, except Naruto, who saw a purple cat with human features and a tall blue man with a scepter floating down. Beerus wiped a tear from his eye and said, "Oh, I'm sorry for interrupting. I just couldn't stop laughing when I heard a simple person give my student a choice. That's the funniest thing I've heard in centuries." Centuries? When Kakashi and Sakura heard this, they were both shocked. They looked at Beerus and wondered, who was he? Madara let out a Ki toward Beerus, who then narrowed his eyes and let out a little bit of his destroyer energy, which made Madara step back and make a drop of sweat on his forehead. Madara thought, it's impossible, how is he holding so much chakra? No, it's not chakra, what is he? No human should have this much power. 4 Zetsu surrounded Beerus and tried to attack him, which was a mistake because he uses his destroyer energy to wipe out the Zetsus. Sakura and Kakashi had to close their eyes because of the energy, and when it stopped, they looked around and couldn't find the 4 Zetsu. Beerus didn't like what had just happened, so he looked at the real Zetsu and pointed one finger at him. Wait, Sensei, the Akatsuki are my problem. As a destroyer, it's my job to take care of it, Naruto said. Beerus was giving Naruto a hard look, but he didn't back down. Sakura and Kakashi were now confused and didn't know what was going on. Naruto turned around and looked at Madara. To answer my question, Madara, you can go to hell, he said with a smile. Madara gave the Jinchuriki a narrow look and said, very well. You chose something. Then I called for the 4th Great Ninja War. Madara Sharingan whirled around like a top. Kakashi and Sakura were shocked by what they heard, but Naruto gave them a smirk. So, you say you're the strongest shinobi who has ever lived, huh? Naruto crossed his arms. Then prove your words. When the war starts, I will expect you to be at your best. Naruto spread his legs a little, clenched his fist, and yelled, just so you know I'm serious. He changed into his majestic Super Saiyan mode first, but he wasn't done yet. He was still getting stronger, which made a strong gust of wind. Again, Kakashi and Sakura put their hands in front of their faces to block the wind. Beerus's eyes narrowed as he felt the energy of his students rising. He had never felt this much energy when they fought before. Was he being shy? Naruto's white hair stood up even straighter and a little longer. His muscles got a little bigger and white lightning crackled all around him. The white aura around his body changed into something that looked like a fierce, jagged flame. Majestic Super Saiyan 2 was this. Naruto laughed when he saw that Madara's body language showed that he was scared. I hope that you won't let me down, Madara. I'll be there. Madara didn't say anything as he disappeared into the swirling vortex and Zetsu sank into the ground and vanished. Naruto dropped his MSSJ2, A.E. Majestic Super Saiyan 2, and looked at his sensei, who was glaring at him. Naruto smiled sheepishly and scratched the back of his head as he usually did. Did I make a mistake? He said this, and his cheeks were grabbed and he was pulled close to Beerus. What did I just see? Have you kept something from me? Why haven't you used that power to teach us anything? Beerus asked for an answer. Naruto was sweating because he had never seen his sensei so angry before, but Whis saved the day. Oh, Beerus-sama, come on. I've known about Naruto's changes for a long time. Whis spoke, and Beerus let go of the angel's hand and snapped his head at him. Why didn't you tell me that? Beerus shouted in a funny way. To be fair, Beerus-sama, Naruto asked me to keep it secret until the right time, and I swore that I would. Brought up Whis. Beerus didn't know what else to say, so he grumbled under his breath and looked back at his student. Whis will double your weight when we get back, Beerus grinned as he looked at his students' horrified faces and said, think of it as punishment. Whis saw that the gem on his scepter was blinking, so he picked it up and saw an image of Goku and Vegeta. What's up? He smiled at Goku in a silly way. Goku, that's a shock. How can I help you? Whis inquired. I was just wondering if Beerus-sama was busy right now. Both Vegeta and I could use some training. Goku pointed his thumb at Vegeta, who had given him an elbow. Shut up, Kakarot. I don't need you to talk for me. Vegeta told him off. Whis saw Beerus talking to a masked shinobi with silver hair, and he saw Naruto talking to a teenage girl with pink hair. As a matter of fact, he is with his apprentice right now. Whis replied. Both of them were surprised and said, what? Hold on, apprentice, what do you mean? Can we meet him? Goku asked. Vegeta didn't say it, but he was too interested in this trainee to keep quiet. Well, you're both lucky, because I was about to suggest that Beerus-sama bring you both to meet him. Said Whis. Cool, I bet he's really strong to be Beerus-sama's apprentice. Goku said something and was happy. Whis heard his name called and looked up to see Beerus coming toward him. I have to go, but we'll see you soon. Oh, and if you don't mind, could you please ask Bulma if she has more of that delicious ice cream sundae? He wanted. You got Whis, and we'll see you soon. The link broke, and the angel went over to Beerus. Did something happen? Beerus. No, sir, I just got a phone call from Goku and Vegeta asking for training. Beerus heard from the angel. Beerus said, really now, as he watched his apprentice talk to the two shinobis. Just the right time. Beerus smiled and asked, how far is it to Universe 7 from here? The destroyer was asked. About 3 hours and 20 minutes and 10 seconds, my lord. Just what Whis said. Beerus was a little upset that the trip would be long, but he went along with it anyway. The name, Naruto. Beerus called for his student, who came. I'm going to Universe 7 for a few days, so you should make the most of the time you have. This surprised Naruto a little, but at least he'll get to see his friends for a few days. Beerus stood next to Whis, who used his scepter to tap the water, making the bubbles glow and disappear. Together, the 5 cages. Tsunade, I still don't trust you. This is the second time that a Uchiha from your village has gone rogue. A big, muscular man with dark skin and shiny blonde hair said this. The Yondaime Raikage. Before she could say anything, Tsunade's eyes narrowed as she looked at the musclehead. You're foolish to think that. A voice said. When the cages and Mifune looked in the direction of the voice, they saw a person who looked exactly like the Yondaime. This shocked them all, but one person blew up. Saying, Namikaze Teme. Yelled a short old man. Onoki's name is Tsuchikage Sandame. Who is Naruto? He caught Tsunade by surprise. Oh, my, he's such a good-looking young man. thought of a beautiful woman in a blue dress with long red hair that covered her right eye with a bang. The Godem Mizukage is Mei Terumi. This made Naruto raise an eyebrow. Why would this old guy think he was the Hokage of Yondaime? No, you old man, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I'm a shinobi from Konoha, and I was the one who beat Pain. That can't be true, because my men died fighting this Pain person. How could a child like you beat him? Yelled A. The Raikage's accusation made Tsunade very angry. If you don't believe me, prove it, Naruto teased. If you can land one punch on me in under a minute, I'll admit I've never beaten Pain, but if you lose, I want an apology. But not to me, to her. He said, pointing to Tsunade. Tsunade was shocked by what he said, but he told him to stop being an idiot. After the mess with the Uchiha and his brother still missing, the Raikage was not in a good mood. He had already disappeared with his lightning release armor on and was standing in front of Naruto with his arm pulled back to punch him, but Naruto just moved his head to avoid the fast punch. Is that really all you've got? Naruto said in an uninterested way. Even Tsunade was shocked by this news. The Raikage's lightning release armor was the second fastest jutsu after Yondaime's Hiraishin, but the kid just dodged the attack like it was nothing. I kept throwing lightning fast punches, but to everyone's surprise, Naruto was able to dodge them almost as quickly as a blur. A red-haired teen with a red kanji symbol for love on his forehead and a big gourd in the shape of a calabash on his back thought, "You have gotten stronger, my friend." Gaara of the Sand, the Godem Kazekage. Naruto kept avoiding the attacks, and soon a minute had gone by, which means it was time to stop. Naruto just put his left hand up and took the punch, which the Raikage thought was stupid because he would get shocked, but to his surprise, the lightning had no effect on him. It's been a minute, and it looks like I win Raikage Dono. Now, about that apology. Don't bother apologizing. The Raikage yelled and hit Naruto with another punch. He didn't fly or go through walls. Instead, he stood still, blocked the fist with one hand, and kept blocking the punches. Each hit was louder than the last. Soon, the Raikage jumped back and was out of breath, but Naruto barely broke a sweat. AMV disturbed. Studify 000A405. Me next. Naruto smiled as he disappeared and appeared in front of the eye. He put his hand near the eye's chest and gave him a 1-inch punch, which sent the muscle head flying through the wall. Naruto went outside, but before he did, he felt someone behind him getting ready to attack. As the sword came down, he quickly disappeared. Nani? See, shocked by this. Naruto came up behind him and gave him a light chop to the neck. As the Kumo shinobi fell, he was knocked out. Naruto saw the second bodyguard of the Raikage, Darui, swing his sword at him from above. However, Naruto caught the blade with just 2 fingers, which shocked the Black Lightning user. Naruto gave the man a hard knee to the gut, knocking him down as he coughed hard. Naruto saw the Raikage, who was still wearing his lightning armor, fly towards him. He yelled and turned into an MSSJ, which made I move back a little. Tsunade was amazed by the energy around Naruto. She knew it wasn't chakra, so it must have been the power of a Majest Super Saiyan that Whis had talked about. Naruto moved to the side to avoid the Raikage, but not before he gave him a chop to the throat. The Raikage stumbled but stayed on his feet. He coughed hard, as if he had just gotten out of a tight iron chokehold. Naruto said, "I'm still waiting for that apology," and he moved his head just a little to avoid the Raikage's punch, which hit the wall and broke it. Naruto gave I a hard headbutt that knocked him back a long way. I stood up straight, and as lightning crackled around his body, his lightning release armor got stronger. Naruto was amazed by how strong the man was, but it was still nothing he couldn't handle. He took a fighting stance and signaled to bring it. I disappeared as he charged at Naruto, who also charged at him. Their fists hit each other, making a big shockwave, and they continued to punch or block each other. Naruto hit I with a series of low, medium, and high kicks, then a spinning kick that I blocked, but she winced because she could feel how powerful the kicks were. Naruto moved faster and threw a barrage of punches at I, who tried to block them but was being pushed backwards. They were being watched by the Kages and Mifune. Not inside. As the battle kept going, it started to snow. Naruto stopped attacking and disappeared, which made I look around. The Saiyan then appeared in front of him and hit him with an uppercut, sending him flying. He walked up to the Raikage and began to punch quickly to the left and right. I could only keep his guard up, and he didn't know how long he could keep it up. I can't believe how strong this Gaki is, he thought. Naruto hit Ai with a double axe handle, and she fell hard but only got a few scratches. When the cages got there, they were shocked to see Naruto flying in the air above the rakeage. They hit him with a double axe handle. Has Naruto-san always been this strong, Tsunade-sama? A question to the Godem Mizukage. Tsunade didn't answer because she was still watching the fight. Ai went to trade punches with Naruto again, but Naruto just blocked and smacked away the attacks, elbowed him in the chest, and then hit him with a hard right punch that knocked him down, but he got back up and held his chest. Naruto just finished a special training program, and as you can see, this is what has happened so far. So said the Godem Hokage. This far? Oh, Hokage-sama, you mean he's still training, right? Asked the former Ichibi Jinchuriki. You're right, Kazekage-sama, said Tsunade. Gaara looked at his Jinchuriki brother and couldn't believe how strong he'd gotten. The Tsuchikage scowls and says, disrespectful Gaki. Naruto hit one of Ai's punches back with one of his own, then spun around and gave him a dropkick to the chest, which sent him flying back. However, Naruto appeared behind him and kicked him, then he appeared in front of him and threw a bunch of punches at his face, grabbed his arm, and threw him to the ground. When the Raikage looked up, he saw the Saiyan with white hair. He could only do this once. On his last try, he put more chakra into his armor and then disappeared. Naruto was kneed in the stomach, which made him slouch, and I picked him up in the powerbomb position. This is it. This is the end. As they came down, the Raikage yelled at them. Bomb Tiger. As the two were hit by lightning, I yelled, and as they fell, there was a huge explosion that made a shockwave. Once the smoke cleared, the Hokage could see a big crater and the Raikage holding the power-down Saiyan in a powerbomb landing position. Tsunade was worried and thought the worst would happen. I pushed away the Saiyan. He sighed and got up to leave, but something didn't feel quite right. He made a mistake by looking back. Now, Naruto was in MSSJ2, standing in front of Ai and giving her a cold look. I had had enough, so he punched him in the stomach, but it didn't do anything. Naruto grabbed the arm, tightened his grip, and moved it away from his stomach. He then gave the Raikage a punch to the stomach, which made him fall to one knee and cough violently. He then cut the Raikage in the neck, which made Ai's eyes go wide and then roll back as he was knocked out. AMV end. Naruto turned off his power and saw the Black Lightning user jump up next to his leader. He gave him an angry look. Say, enough. Mifune, the samurai general, yelled with a voice of authority. Darui hesitated, but then did what he was told. C joined him and helped pick up their leader and get him out of the crater, while Naruto just flew out of the crater and landed. He saw that Tsunade was angry, so he smiled sheepishly. What a surprise. He had a silly grin. In the office of the Hokage. Naruto and Tsunade came back from the meeting of the 5 cages, where it was decided that they would work together to fight Madara. Naruto is in the Hokage's office right now. He is standing in front of her, who is sitting behind her desk with her fingers interlocked. You said you had something important to tell me, he said, noticing that she was going into Hokage mode. Yes, I did, but before I tell you, I need you to promise to stay calm, she said, which made him feel confused. He asked, what's this all about? After taking a deep breath, Tsunade spoke. Naruto's eyes got big when Sasuke said, first, it's time to tell you about your parents. Your parents were strong shinobi, especially your father. He was a hero to Konohagakure, and so was your mother. Her name was Kushina Uzumaki, and she was the second Jinchuriki of the Kyubi. She came here from Uzushiogakure before it was destroyed. Naruto had a few tears running down his cheek, but he wiped them away and gave her a nod to keep talking. When she was your age, your mother was just like you. She was rude and loud, but a great shinobi, Tsunade said with a laugh, making him laugh a little. She said, as for your father, he was Minato Namikaze, who was better known as the Yondaime Hokage. Naruto's brain felt like it was going to explode when he found out who his father was. At the same time, he wanted to hit himself for not figuring it out sooner when the Tsuchikage called him out. He was angry and happy at the same time. Even though he was angry that his father had made him a Jinchuriki, he understood why he had done it. He was glad that his father was the hero he had looked up to since he was a child. Now that you know them, there's more about the night you were born that you should know, Tsunade told the Saiyan, who had never heard much about that night. All he knew was that the Kyubi were coming to attack. I looked through Sensei's files and found something interesting, she said as she took the folder out of her bag and opened it. Your mother was taken outside of Konohagakure for safety because giving birth would weaken her seal. Minato, Sensei's wife, and her helper were the only ones with her. When you were born, an orange spiral masked man killed the nurses and took you. Naruto stopped moving when he thought about how Madara looked. He gripped his chair so tightly that it cracked, and a purple aura came from him. Tsunade felt fear for the first time since she fought Hanzo the Salamander, the shinobi with the most fear, many years ago. When Tsunade was shaky, he closed his eyes and thought about what Whis had taught him. The purple aura was gone, and he looked like he was sorry. For now, he was safe. She cleared her throat and turned her attention back. It also said that your dad was able to bring you back, but the jerk took your mother, ripped the Kyubi out of her, and then used a Sharingan to control it. Naruto's blood was boiling because he couldn't believe he was looking at the man who killed his mother. Your father fought the man and managed to break the control over the Kyubi, and you know the rest. Naruto ended by saying, he had to seal it into me, which made Tsunade nod to confirm it. He knew why his father did what he did, but something about it made him wonder. He asked, wait, what about Dad's family? Minato's file said he was an orphan until a woman named Kira Namikaze took him in as her own, Tsunade said. During this time, he was thinking that his dad might be a Saiyan. It all made sense to him. He needs to remember to ask Whis about the majestic Saiyan's history. What's this? Tsunade's question stopped him from thinking. She took out an envelope and saw the symbol of her sensei clan. Then she took out a letter. To Tsunade. If you can read this, you are the Godam Hokage. I'm proud of you for stepping up to protect the village, just like your family did. I assume you've met or will meet young Naruto. He reminds me a lot of Nawaki. Tsunade smiled and wiped away a tear. At the end of the letter, add chakra to my clan symbol. What you read may make you angry and disappointed in me, but as Godam Hokage, you can make things right like I should have done years ago. Thank you, Tsunade. Sincerely, Hiruzen Sarutobi, your teacher. When Tsunade saw the clan symbol, she added chakra, which caused a black folder to come out of her mouth and open. Naruto watched as Tsunade's face turned horrified as she read the letter. A minute later, after she finished reading it, her face turned serious. She threw the folder on Naruto's desk, where he looked at it and read through it. When he was done, he was mad and his eyes got hard. He threw the folder on the desk. Why? Naruto asked in a low voice. Tsunade rubbed the bridge of her nose and went to her desk to get a cup and a bottle of sake. She got a glass and drank from it. Danzo Shimura has done a lot of bad things, but this is by far the worst. Unfortunately, there is no proof that Danzo had anything to do with Shisui Uchiha's death, but I'm sure he did. Naruto said, then why don't we ask? And Tsunade saw that he had an idea. She asked, what's your idea? Danzo was right to go to the Hokage office when he heard his name. Fu and Torun, two root agents who were there to protect him, were following him in the shadows. When he walked into the office, he saw Tsunade waiting for him at the desk. Danzo, sit down, she said, but it was probably an order. Sitting down. She got the black folder out and started reading. As you know, the Uchiha clan planned a coup many years ago, which led to Itachi Uchiha killing everyone in the clan. I see that Shisui Uchiha could have stopped them in another way, but he was killed. Please explain to me, Danzo, why you did what you did. I don't, Danzo said calmly, but then Tsunade slammed her hands on the desk and got up from her seat in anger, cutting him off. Stop talking nonsense, Danzo. I know you had something to do with Shisui Uchiha's death. If you still have any dignity, you'll confess right now, she said calmly at the end. Tsunade, you're crazy. I had nothing to do with Shisui Uchiha's death, Danzo said in response. She never took her eyes off the Warhawk. She asked Danzo, what do you say to this, Naruto? Danzo was surprised because he hadn't seen the Gaki come out of the corner. When Naruto looked at the one-eyed jerk, his eyes were cold blue. You're lying. The minute Tsunade questioned you, your left hand gave a tiny twitch, not to mention your chakra spiked enough for me to notice. Without warning, his left hand formed a white keyblade and quickly slashed, which Danzo dodged, but he smirked as the black robe concealing the old man's right arm fell, and so did his bandages, including a gold bracer revealing his right arm, which was sickly pale, and in them were 10 mature Sharingan. Naruto grinned and asked, what do we have here? This made Danzo clench his teeth in anger. Tsunade said in a cold voice, "Danzo Shimura, you have insulted not only the dead of the Uchiha clan but also my grandfather. As the Godem Hokage, I order you to be killed right away. What I did was for the good of Konohagakure. If the Uchiha had won the coup, the village would be nothing but rubble." Hiruzen was a fool too. Danzo started to say more, but Naruto cut him off. He was disrespecting the Sandaime too much, so Naruto kicked him in the face, sending him through 2 walls and into the street. The people were shocked. Naruto turned and used his Keyblade to block Torun's Tonto blade. He put his finger on the root agent's head, flicked him, and sent him flying out the window. Fu Yamanaka tried to attack, but Naruto disappeared and then appeared behind him. He cut Fu Yamanaka in the neck, knocking him out. He didn't waste any time and flew towards Danzo while Tsunade called for help from Anbus. When he fell, he saw the old fool getting up. People who were a long way away were shocked by what they saw. Naruto said out loud, "Danzo Shimura, you were found guilty of treason in the murder of Shisui Uchiha." This shocked everyone, including Konoha 10 and the clan heads who had come to the scene, except for Sai, who knew what was going on. Kiba asked, "What's going on?" Shikamaru said, "I don't know, but what we heard just now says it all." Shikaku started to explain. Danzo Shimura was one of the elder advisors to the Sandaime Hokage and was a former teammate of his. He was someone who couldn't be trusted. Years ago, he made a group of people like the Anbu, but they were called Root Anbus. Like us, they went on dangerous missions, but they were taught not to feel any emotions or regrets. They were just tools. Tenten asked, how was he able to be an advisor for the Hokage if he was convicted of this? Kakashi said, politics, as he watched what was going to happen. That one-eyed jerk deserved it. Sume laughed, because she had never liked the man. Danzo glared at the Jinchuriki as he tore the bandages off his right face to show Shisui Sharingan. It was pointless to try to hide it any longer. As he turned on the Mangekyo Sharingan Kotoa Matsukami, he yelled, "You're mine now, boy." Naruto stood there without moving. He had vanished and then appeared in front of him. Before Danzo could block, Naruto ripped the eye right out of the socket, which made him scream. He fell backwards, holding his wound and gritting his teeth because it hurt so much. The Konoha Chunins and clan leaders were shocked because they had never seen this side of Naruto before, especially Sakura as she looked at her teammate. Naruto held the Sharingan in his bloody left hand. He had a cold look on his face. "You think you can control me with the Sharingan? Sorry to tell you, old man, but I've never used the Kyubi's chakra." He changed into his majestic form. "What you see is my true power," he said in a cold voice, pushing white energy out around him. What the hell happened to Naruto?" asked Kiba. "Why did his hair change color, and what's with that chakra?" No one answered because everyone else had the same question as him. Neji turned on his Byakugan so he could look at the white energy, but as soon as he did, it was almost too bright for him to see, so he grunted and covered his eyes. "Neji-kun, are you alright?" asked a worried Tenten. Neji got his sight back and was shocked. "It's not chakra. Whatever it is, it blinded my Byakugan," he said. When Hiashi heard this, he was also shocked. Danzo made some hand signs and tried to use a jutsu, but Naruto appeared in front of him again and threw a kick at him, which he blocked, but the force made him skid back. Suddenly, Danzo felt a sharp pain in his back and saw that the Jinchuriki had made a cage bushin, which hit him hard in the spine and sent his body skidding and crashing through the streets. "You're too slow, Danzo, and here I thought you'd be a challenge." Naruto made fun of him and moved toward him, but he suddenly jumped out of the way of several shurikens. The root of Anbus was everywhere. The white-haired Saiyan made fun of Danzo by saying, "How disappointing, old bastard, that you're sending your lapdogs to do the job you can't do." This made Danzo angry. He yelled, "Roots attack!" as the Anbus took out their weapons and charged. Naruto turned on his white keyblade and dodged an attack that hit him in the chest. He then jumped and used a spinning kick to kill another enemy. He blocked a blade attack, gave another Anbu a hard right punch to the gut, and pushed him back so hard that he fell on his back. The other Anbu coughed up a glob of blood as it leaked out of his mask and fell flat on his back. Naruto kept walking toward Danzo as a root Anbu ran at him, but he gave the man a backhand that sent him tumbling to the ground. Danzo quickly made the hand signs for Mokaton, smothering bonding technique. His right arm turned into several wood tendrils that wrapped around Naruto. The leader of the Roots was happy because he thought he had won, but that didn't last long. When Naruto's energy burst, it destroyed the wooden tendrils. I am possible. Nothing can break the Shodem Mokuton. His eyes widened. Impossible. Nothing can break the Shodem Mokuton. The Konohagakure Anbus arrived, and Konoha 11 joined the fight against the Root agents. Naruto kept walking toward the Klutz with a smile on his face. Danzo repeated the hand signs for futon, vacuum blade, and then he blew a strong gust of wind. Naruto covered his right hand in white ki energy, cocked it back, and gave a hard punch, which stopped the attack. My turn, Naruto said as he flew toward him and punched him in the body and face with a lot of force. He gave him an uppercut that sent him high into the air, and then he appeared above him and hit him with an axe kick that sent Danzo crashing hard into the ground. Once he was on the ground, the dust had settled, but there was no body in the small hole. Sakura saw Danzo behind a member of her team. She called out, "Naruto-kun is behind you." Danzo didn't want to use Izanagi, but he had to. He came up behind the Saiyan, ready to kill the kid. He stabbed him, or tried to, but the Saiyan grabbed the tip of the tanto and broke it. He gave the cripple a knee to the stomach and a punch to the jaw, which sent him tumbling down the street. He struggled to get up as blood dripped from his mouth, and he gave the Jinchuriki an angry look. Naruto watched him and noticed that one of his Sharingans was missing. Oh, I see, so those Sharingans have some kind of power to keep you from dying, but every time you use one, you lose one, right? Naruto asked, and he got his answer when he saw the jerk frown. I'll take that as a yes. He turned on his keyblade in his right hand, which turned into a tall scythe, spun it around, and pointed it at him. Danzo made the hand signs for futon, great breakthrough. He then pulled his head back and shot a big gust of wind at Naruto. Naruto pulled his scythe back and gave it a huge slash, which sent a sharp ki energy line through the gust and didn't hurt him. He then attacked by swinging the scythe around. Danzo was just about able to avoid it, but a kick to the face threw him off. Naruto used the blunt side of the scythe to hit Danzo on the side of the head, but he switched. He didn't move until he felt a force behind him, at which point he swung the scythe and stuck it into Danzo's chest. He coughed up blood, but then he started to fade away like a mirage. He soon reappeared a few feet away, but he was panting because he could feel his chakra running low. Using Izanagi and the Mokuton both take a lot of chakra, and using Izanagi takes even more. Naruto could tell that Danzo was getting tired, so he decided to end this already. He left, making the cripple look everywhere, even up. Before the Warhawk even knew what was going on, Naruto kicked him in the chin with a strong kick, sending him high into the air. As he tried one last time to attack, Naruto showed up in front of him and grabbed Mokuton's transplanted arm. He looked at Danzo with a cold, dark look in his silver eyes. Danzo was scared for the first time in his life. Even when he was in the war, he never showed fear. The right hand of Naruto was held out in front of Danzo. He asked, "Any last words?" Bitterly, Danzo said, "I don't have any regrets, but you'll never understand what it means to be Hokage. The sacrifices I made were for the good of Konohagakure, and without me, this place would be nothing." "You're wrong, Danzo. The so-called sacrifices you made was not for the good of Konohagakure, it almost led to its destruction. As God of Destruction of Universe Zero, it is my duty to eliminate any threats in you, Danzo. Are finished." "Hakai," he shouted, and suddenly a bright purple light flared around Danzo, who screamed in agony as his body started to disintegrate. He tried to use Izanagi, but to his horror it was not working. Naruto smiled and said, "Hakai is a strong force. If you get caught in it, you can't get out unless you have the power of a sage." As the Root agents watched Danzo Shimura die, the sounds of his screams would be burned into their memories forever. When the Root saw the Saiyan looking at them with cold eyes, they felt the same way as their former master, fear. One of the Root Anbu dropped his tanto and said, "We surrender." Others had started to give up and drop their weapons while Konoha Anbu took them away. Naruto soon fell back to the ground and dropped his MSSJ form back to himself. He saw that his friends were coming up to him and asking a lot of questions, but Tsunade was there to stop them. She told them, "Okay, that's enough. Naruto will explain everything, but not here in my office," and then she turned to the regular people. "Citizens of Konohagakure, what you just heard is true. Danzo Shimura did commit many crimes and was responsible for the attack on our home. He also defiled the graves of the Uchiha clan and our Shodem Hokage," she said. When the man did what he did, the people around him were all shocked and then disgusted. Naruto said, "I'm sorry for what you just saw. I don't want you to be afraid of me. I made a promise to protect this village from any threats, and Danzo Shimura's actions showed that he would hurt you all instead of protect you. But as long as I live, I, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, will protect you all, even if it costs me my life." Everyone was surprised by the last name, except for Tsunade and Shikamaru, who had already been suspicious for a while. People on the street and Shinobi were shocked. How could they not see? He was almost an exact copy of the Yondaime. Even the tan skin and blonde hair with spikes. People and Shinobi respected him more after hearing his speech, not because he was powerful, but because he had the same will as their last 4 Hokages and his father. Naruto smiled when he heard the people in the village cheering for him, but he didn't know that he was being watched. Universe 7. Beerus and Whis were there, as were Goku, Gohan, Piccolo, and Vegeta. Gohan and Piccolo were impressed by the young man's power, especially his skills. Goku was eager to fight him, especially after seeing his MSSJ form. Vegeta, like Goku, also wanted to fight this Saiyan and see if his race was strong, just like Whis said. Piccolo said, "He's fast and strong. Most of the attacks that were thrown at him didn't even hurt him." Gohan said, "Yes, he is. I'm surprised that he can turn his ki energy into a blade. I didn't think that was possible. Man, I can't wait to meet him." Goku exclaimed. "What do you think, Vegeta?" "I'll admit, I'm interested in the boy's power, especially that majestic Super Saiyan form," Vegeta said. Goku smiled and told him, "You're not the only one." Beerus kept quiet as he listened to the Saiyans talk. Vegeta might be able to push Naruto back a little, but even in Super Saiyan Blue, that won't be enough. Goku, on the other hand, will be a match if he uses his Kaioken and Super Saiyan Blue forms together. "Now that you've seen how strong and powerful my apprentice is, let's see how you do against him," Beerus said. Goku looked ready and excited, but Vegeta was calm but ready to step up his training. Beerus said, "Whis, please take us back to my planet." Beerus had a tick mark, so he turned to Whis, who was eating an ice cream sundae and didn't hear him. Beerus's tick mark got bigger. "And where's my ice cream sundae?" he asked. Nighttime in Konohagakure. The blonde Saiyan was out for a nighttime walk. When he told his friends that he was part alien and was called a majestic Saiyan, they were shocked. But they still thought of him as a friend, except for a Hyuga girl and a medic with pink hair. Naruto gave Tsunade the Sharingan eye that Danzo took from Shisui and told him to put it away. She did this while giving Naruto a map to his father's village, which he used to find. He was standing in front of a closed gate and saw a seal. He bit his thumb and slid it over it to unlock it. He walked into the house and saw a beautiful living room and a nice kitchen. He went upstairs and opened one door. The room wall was sky blue with white cloud designs. In the middle of the room was a white crib with a white sheet, a pillow, a small red blanket, an orange stuffed toad, and other baby toys. He picked up the toad and smiled a little, even though he knew this wasn't his room. He shut the door after putting the toad back in the crib. He kept looking around and found a room with a seal on the door handle. When I looked at the seal more closely, it seemed to need ki energy. He grabbed the door handle and used his ki to open the door. When you walked in, it was dark. He turned on the lights when he found a switch. There was some kind of machine in the middle of a room, and a hand scanner led up to it. He put out his hand and thought he needed to use ki, so he did. The machine looked over. The machine said, "Scanning is done, confirm Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze." A hologram of his father, Minato Namikaze, dressed in his Hokage coat, stood in front of it. "Naruto, if you're reading this, you've unlocked your Saiyan heritage. You might not know what a Saiyan is, though." He tells Naruto about the majestic Saiyan and what he knows about him. "I was the only survivor on the planet, so I was sent away. I landed near Konohagakure, where I studied to become a shinobi. I kept my powers hidden, except for my Hiraishin, which used ki energy, laughs. When this message is over, you'll get my battle gear, a weapon that was once your grandfather's, and a scroll with some of my ki moves. I love you, son, and so does your mother." Once the message was over, the wall behind him opened up and slid away, revealing a mannequin wearing a black form-fitting short-sleeved shirt, black pants, black kung fu shoes and stockings, a flowing white vest with a long backside that is secured with a white obi tied over it at the waist, and white armbands. It was basically a Zeno Goku costume, but in different colors. He put the scroll in his tunic and picked up the staff. The design on the staff, which was a gold dragon, fascinated him. The staff felt very light, so he did a few tricks with it. He stopped and smiled as he looked at the gun again. He looked more closely at his father's gear and touched the vest's fabric. "Mom, Dad, I'll make you proud," he told himself. He put the clothes away in a scroll. He should remember to thank Fukasaku-sama for teaching him Fuinjutsu because it really helps. He then took out 2 empty scrolls and wrote something on them. When he was done, he slung the power staff behind him and put the scrolls in his orange sleeveless tunic. He then put everything back the way it was and locked the room. As he was getting ready to leave, he turned and saw a picture of his father hugging a beautiful red-headed woman from behind. She had a big stomach, so he knew it was his mother. He picked up the picture and traced her face, then put it back down and left his house. He locked the gates and turned to face Kakashi, his first sensei. "What's up, Kakashi-sensei?" the Saiyan asked. "I'd like to talk to you, if that's okay," the one in the mask said. As they walked, Naruto said, "Sure. It's been 5 minutes. How are you getting along?" said Kakashi. "Good, training has been really hard for me, but I've learned a few new moves. Unfortunately, Beerus-sensei is going to make it twice as hard when I go back because I didn't show him my majestic Super Saiyan 2 form," Naruto said. Kakashi said, "I'm sure you can handle it, since you're also an Uzumaki." Naruto laughed and gave a nod. They let a minute go by. "Naruto, I've never told you this before, but I'm sorry I wasn't a good sensei to you or Sakura. I was so focused on keeping Sasuke in the village that when he used my move against you, I knew he was a lost cause. Now that he has attacked the 5 cages, he is a wanted criminal around the world, and he almost killed Sakura. He can't be helped." Naruto stayed quiet as he listened to his sensei talk. "You had already left with Jiraiya on the day I wanted to train and make it up to you. From there, I thought you wouldn't need me anymore, but I didn't give up. I promised your father I would make it up to you, so I trained you for your wind element." "Yeah, I remember that. To be honest, I was angry at first when I left with Ero Sennin, but as the years went by, I grew up. Well, maybe half of me did." Naruto laughed as he scratched the back of his head. "But I have to say that without your Inazuma-sensei's help, I wouldn't have been able to finish something with the Rasengan that my father couldn't do. I know he'd be proud of me now." "Yes, he would," Kakashi nodded. "When are you leaving?" Before the Shinobi Saiyans spoke, Whis and Beerus showed up in front of them. Naruto said, "Speak of the devil." Beerus said, "You really put on a show against that Danzo guy," and he saw the power staff around his apprentice's back. "What were you doing?" Naruto said, amazed. "Oh, yes, so did Goku and Vegeta. When they see your power, they want to fight you, which is normal for Saiyans," Whis said. "So, are you all set?" Beerus wanted to know. Naruto nodded, but he stopped and said, "Hold on." He pulled out 2 scrolls and looked at Kakashi. "Please give one to Sakura and Hinata." He gave him the scrolls and said, "Tell Ba-chan I'll see her soon." Kakashi nodded as he took them and said, "Stay safe, Naruto." His students nodded and went to stand by Beerus and Whis, who tapped their scepter as they left. The planet Beerus. Vegeta and Goku were sparring while they waited for Beerus and his apprentice to arrive. Before they attacked each other, the 2 Saiyans stopped and waited for Beerus and his apprentice to arrive. They saw a dim light that showed Whis, Beerus, and Beerus's apprentice. "Are we so eager for a fight?" Whis said. Goku smiled silly, laughed, and scratched the back of his head. Vegeta, on the other hand, just scoffed. "So you're Goku and Vegeta. Whis told me about you too." "Hi, I'm Naruto, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze," Naruto said as he walked up to them. "What is Namikaze? What does that name mean?" Beerus asked him. "It turns out that my father was the only one who lived through the war. Before the war, he was sent close to Konohagakure. Naruto said, he had learned the way of the shinobi and was now the leader of my village." "Whoa." Goku said, "Your father must have been very strong." Naruto smiled slightly and said, "Yeah, he was." "Okay, enough talking." Beerus told Naruto, "You're going to fight both Vegeta and Goku. We'll see how far your training has come." As the 3 Saiyans moved away, Naruto nodded. He stabbed the power staff into the ground, rolled his shoulder and neck, stretched his arms, and popped his knuckles. He then threw a couple of lightning-fast punches. Goku was getting ready to fight while Vegeta watched Naruto's punches and kicks. When he was done, Naruto looked at them and said, "Okay, who's first?" He said. Goku was about to offer to help, but Vegeta stopped him. "I'll do it," he said. "What?" "Vegeta, I wanted to fight him before you did." Goku moaned. "Well, that's too bad," said Vegeta as he moved forward. Goku had already joined Whis and Beerus. The two Saiyans were staring at each other, waiting for the other to attack. Naruto disappeared all of a sudden and appeared behind Vegeta. Vegeta turned around and threw a punch, but it didn't hit anything. Naruto again appeared behind the Saiyan and said, "I'm here." The Saiyan turned quickly and kicked, but again hit nothing but air. Again, Naruto showed up right behind Vegeta and tried to kick him. Vegeta turned in time to block the kick, but he had already skidded halfway across the ground. Vegeta looked around to see that his opponent was gone, but Naruto hit him in the stomach with an elbow. Vegeta rolled out of the way as Naruto hit the ground with an axe kick, making a small hole. With his chance, Vegeta flew at Naruto fast and hit him with a series of punches and kicks, but the Destroyer's apprentice kept blocking them with just one hand. Vegeta sped up, but it didn't make a difference. Naruto still blocked the punches. Naruto let go of Vegeta's hand, and Vegeta jumped back far. "Let's make this interesting," he said as he took a stance and focused. Blue energy surrounded him, and he changed into Super Saiyan Blue. Whis didn't tell Naruto about this change, which made it harder. "I've only seen you and Goku in Super Saiyan form," he said. "So, what is this called?" he said. Vegeta smiled and said, "This is the Super Saiyan Blue form, which is even stronger than Super Saiyan." Naruto gave his own smirk and said, "That's impressive, but let's see how you do against this." He got into his stance, focused, and yelled out, calling on his ki energy, which grew bigger and blinded Vegeta, Goku, Whis, and Beerus, but had no effect on Whis and Beerus. After the light went out, Naruto's eyebrows and hair were white, and his bangs framed his face. His body was covered in white energy, and his eyes were silver. He smiled. Goku thought, "I can't believe his energy keeps getting stronger and stronger." "Vegeta, you better be ready." Both Saiyans flew at each other so fast and threw a punch at the same time, causing a big shockwave when they hit. They flew high in the air and threw punches, knees, and elbows at each other until Naruto stepped in to defend himself. At that moment, he grabbed and locked onto Vegeta's arms, then hit him in the chest with a knee strike. Vegeta fell back, but when he looked up, he saw that Naruto was gone. Vegeta quickly looked around to try to feel Naruto's energy. His eyes widened, and he quickly looked down to see a foot coming at him. Luckily, he was able to dodge it, and he kicked back, but Naruto disappeared again. He looked up and saw Naruto coming down with a punch, which Vegeta blocked. He felt another energy below and looked down to see the majestic Saiyan kick him in the chin, which sent him back. Vegeta scratched his chin and asked, "What the heck did he do?" He stopped when he saw two majestic Saiyans. "It's called Kage Bushin, and you like it." "Usually, I'd use something else to power it, but Beerus Sensei's training has taught me how to use my ki energy instead, which makes it stronger." Vegeta set his teeth together. Goku said, "Whoa, just like Tien, but this clone really feels like another him." Whis said, "The move is very useful in battle, especially if he can master it. If he can do that, he can use them to make an army. Imagine going up against an army of destroyers." Goku was shocked and said, "What? No way." Whis nods to say, "Yes, he could if he can learn how to do it." Beerus said, "Vegeta now knows he's in a tough spot, and he hasn't been able to land a single blow while Naruto has. And from what I can see, Vegeta is getting angry," Whis said. Beerus said, "Then that will be his downfall." Both Saiyans looked at each other. "Even in my Super Saiyan Blue form, he's faster than me," he thought. "If this is the power of a majestic Saiyan, I'll have to give everything I've got." He got into his stance and let out more energy as the blue aura around him grew. While waiting, Naruto was impressed by how much energy the blue-haired Saiyan was giving off. "Vegeta, you're just like Sasuke, except you didn't leave your friends. You know what it means to be strong, even if you don't want to admit it." Vegeta disappeared and then showed up right behind Naruto. Naruto turned and caught the punch, so he threw one back, but Vegeta caught it. Blue and white energy fought to be the strongest. As their knees clashed and their punches and kicks sent out small shockwaves, they both thought the same thing. Goku said, "Wow, look at them go at it. It's been a while since I've seen anyone push Vegeta this far, except for us." "It looks like Vegeta has learned to control his anger," Whis said in awe. Vegeta's anger has helped him learn from his mistakes, but now that he's seen this power, it will keep him on track. Naruto and Vegeta jumped back far as their ki was charged. Final flash. Vegeta yelled and shot out a huge amount of yellow ki energy. Naruto yelled, "Majestic spiral wave," and fired a white spiral stream of energy. Both attacks hit each other and pushed each other back. Both Vegeta and Naruto gritted their teeth and added more ki to their attacks. Naruto changed into his MSSJ2 and said, "Vegeta, you really are a warrior, but I'm afraid this is the end." His attack got stronger and Vegeta's attack was no match for it, so it was pushed back. Vegeta put all of his ki into his attack, but it wasn't enough. Soon, the attack used up all of Vegeta's ki, causing a bright light to blind Goku. When it was over, Vegeta was on the ground with his armor torn in half and some bruises, but he was out for the count. While Whis and Beerus talked, Goku ran to check on Vegeta. The angel said, "It looks like you were right, my lord." Vegeta was able to push Naruto back and even make him become a majestic Super Saiyan 2. "I thought Goku would be the one. Naruto only used a piece of it against Vegeta." "Now it's Goku's turn," said Beerus as Goku set Vegeta down next to him and Whis, who went to heal the Saiyan. Naruto changed out of his MSSJ2 form into his normal majestic form and floated down to the ground. He saw Goku walk across the bridge. The orange GI Saiyan gave him a sheepish smile and laughed as he rubbed the back of his head. "I have to say, you are strong. It takes a lot to beat Vegeta." Naruto let out a small laugh. "I've seen his Super Saiyan Blue, so why don't you show me yours?" Goku smiled and said, "All right then." He then got serious. Soon, he turned into his Super Saiyan Blue form when a blue aura spread over his body. Since the energy was a little stronger than Vegeta's, Naruto's eyes got a little narrower. Now things were getting interesting. Naruto put out more white energy around his body and asked, "Are you ready?" As he took his position. Goku answered while he was getting into his stance. Sure enough, they both ran at each other as fast as they could and raised their fists to hit each other. When Naruto and Goku's fists hit each other, they made a big shockwave. They were both in the air as they punched and kicked each other. When their knees hit, sparks of energy fly off, and they push each other back. Naruto broke the hold by disappearing and showing up behind Goku, but by the time he did, the Blue Saiyan had also disappeared and shown up behind Naruto with a kick that Naruto just barely blocked. He thought, "It looks like Goku has been paying close attention to my moves against Vegeta." He fought back with multiple right kicks, which Goku avoided. He didn't see the left knee hit him in the gut, knocking him out of the air, or the elbow hit him in the back, sending him to the ground. Goku looked up in time to avoid Naruto's axe kick, which made a small crater. In the air, he felt someone else behind him. When he turned around, he saw a clone moving quickly toward him. He tried to block the attack, but a punch to the gut caught him off guard. The clone kept hitting him with hard left and right punches for another 10 times. Goku blocked the left and right punches and hit the clone with 2 knees to the chin in a hard kick, which made it poop and run away. As they quickly punched and kicked each other back and forth, Naruto showed up in front of him. He hit Goku's face twice, but to his surprise, he got hit 3 times himself. The angel asked the destroyer, "Now that Goku has hit Naruto a few times, this should get interesting, wouldn't you say, Beerus-sama?" The destroyer didn't answer and just kept watching the fight. The 2 Saiyans were still trading punches when Naruto kicked Goku's leg, knocking him off balance. He then cocked his right fist back, covered it with white ki energy, and went for a punch, but Goku was able to stop it by wrapping his legs around the arm. This caught Naruto by surprise, and Goku used this to his advantage by flipping backwards and throwing Naruto to the ground. He landed on his feet and looked up. Dozens of ki blast energies were coming at him, but he was able to avoid them and fly. Goku appeared above Naruto and tried to hit him with an axe handle, but Naruto blocked it with a rising knee and a spin kick, which Goku blocked with an X guard but still got sent back. Naruto showed up in front of Goku and threw fast, hard punches to the left and right, which Goku tried to block but was pushed away from. Goku fell for Naruto's fake jab, and he got a hard right hook to the gut. The Saiyan spat out a big glob of saliva, and he was then kicked a long way back. Naruto shot out white ki energies, which Goku dodged by flying around. Whis said, even though Naruto is in his majestic form, Goku has been doing well against him. I'm surprised that Naruto can still keep up with Goku's blue form without going majestic too. Beerus said, he's holding back, too. Remember the Kaioken he learned from the Kai. Once he sees Naruto's power growing, I'm sure Goku will go all out. Again, the Saiyans were fighting with punches, blocks, and kicks. Naruto and Goku were getting hit with punches back and forth, and the two men had small smiles in their eyes because they were enjoying this. Goku tried to kick Naruto in the head, but Naruto blocked it with his arm and hit him in the face with a right punch. Goku shook it off and went for a left hook to the stomach, but Naruto blocked it with his own punch. He tried to throw his own left punch, but Goku stopped it with his forearm. They stopped talking and each gave the other a right punch to the face, making a shockwave. Beerus and Whis just watched. Naruto and Goku both laughed, and the two of them floated back. Naruto said, I guess I've been too easy on you for too long. Goku gave a small smirk and said, guess you do. Show me what you've got. He then got into his ready position as his blue ki energy flared up more. Naruto's eyes got serious as he got into his stance and focused his energy. He let out a loud shout as his ki shot up high, his hair got a little longer and stiffer with bangs in front, his muscle mass grew a little, white lightning crackled around his body, and his aura turned into a fierce flame. He looked very serious as he looked at Goku. When Beerus saw his student change, he said, now things are about to get serious. Whis heard Vegeta grunt and saw him start to wake up as he sat up. He said, right on time, Vegeta. Vegeta started to stand up and saw the majestic Saiyan in his MSSJ2 form and Goku in his stance. Naruto took a step and disappeared. Goku quickly looked back and then up, where he saw an axe kick that he just barely avoided and had to block with his left and right kicks. Goku tried to get back at Naruto by kicking him, but Naruto caught the kick, threw Goku far away, and then followed. Goku looked up and saw Naruto above him. He used X to block Naruto's fast left and right punches, but he was still pushed to the ground. Goku was able to kick Naruto away with both feet. Naruto stopped and sent another Ki blast, which Goku easily dodged and disappeared behind. However, Naruto turned around and kneed him in the stomach, which was a surprise. The Rasengan was easy for Naruto to make. He just cocked back his right palm. He yelled, Rasengan, and slammed the orb into the Saiyan's stomach. Goku was knocked out of the air as he was thrown hard to the ground, making a big crash. End of 4:20 AMV. Vegeta was shocked by this, but Beerus and Whis didn't seem to care. Naruto slowly floated down. When the smoke cleared, he saw Goku sitting up and shaking his head in a small crater. He rubbed his stomach while the Rasengan tore a hole in his shirt. Oh man, that hit hard, said the Blue Saiyan as he stood back up. That majestic Super Saiyan 2 form wasn't a joke. Now I understand why Vegeta had a hard time with you, he said. Naruto smiled a little. He said, I hope this isn't all you've got, Goku. Goku shook his head and said, nope. He then took a stance. Goku said and shouted, it's time to step it up a notch. His blue aura had a red color around it, just like his skin. Naruto waited for Goku to come so he could see what he was up to. Goku yelled, Kaioken times 5. As the red aura around the blue energy got bigger. When Vegeta saw this, he clenched his fist and gritted his teeth in anger. He's done it once more. Well, this could change things. If Goku's Super Saiyan Blue and Kaioken times 5 worked together, he might have the upper hand. Whis. Beerus watched the two warriors closely. Naruto was surprised by this power, which was a mistake because Goku then showed up in front of him and hit the majestic Saiyan in the face with a right hook of his own, sending him back. Naruto looked up and saw Goku throwing hard punches from above. He blocked them, but he could feel how powerful they were. Goku decided to follow Naruto's lead. He faked a left punch, which Naruto fell for, and then hit him in the gut with a right hook. He kept attacking with a mix of punches and kicks to the face, which pushed the majestic Saiyan back. Then he got an uppercut that sent him even higher into the air. Naruto turned around just in time to avoid the Blue Saiyan's punch, but it was a distraction. Goku then hit Naruto in the chest with a knee, sending him crashing through the trees to the ground. Whis and Beerus were surprised by this, and Vegeta was angry about it. As Naruto got up, the ground started to glow white and then blew up. His right sleeve was torn in half, and there was a small hole in his pants, but he seemed fine. Naruto's mouth was dripping a little blood, which he licked off and spat out. "So I guess this Kaioken of yours makes you twice as fast and twice as strong," he said. Goku laughed and said, "That's right, including my senses, but instead of double, it's more like 5 times. Naruto was impressed by the technique and decided it was time for him to try his own. He closed his eyes and sat cross-legged on the ground. Goku couldn't wait to see this. Beerus and Vegeta were confused, but Whis gave a small smile and said, "It looks like he's going to try it." AVG Shippuden Kaisei Gyakuten. Naruto's white aura started to be surrounded by a powerful orange energy, and orange pigmentation started to form around his eyes. Once he slowly opened them, his iris was yellow, but his pupil was silver, like a toad's. As Naruto stood up, he took a step forward and disappeared. His eyes were cold and serious. Goku looked around and tried to feel the energy, but he could feel it everywhere. Goku was hunched over and got an uppercut when Naruto showed up and punched him in the gut. He came up behind him and hit him quickly, which made the orange-clad Saiyan put up his guard. Goku thought, his energy is like he's all over the place. The block was broken by a kick from the majestic Saiyan, which sent the Saiyan with blue hair back. Whis said, "It looks like Naruto has done it." Beerus and Vegeta were confused as they looked at the angel who told them. Naruto has been working on a technique that combines Sage Mode with Majestic Super Saiyan 2. Unlike the Kaioken, Sage Mode doesn't have any side effects because it uses natural energy. Like the Kaioken, his speed and strength double, but thanks to Majestic 2, it's probably 4 times as powerful now. Beerus and Vegeta were amazed by the way it was done. Goku looked around and tried to feel the Majestic Saiyan's energy again, but it was all over the place, just like before. He was pulled out of his thoughts when he felt a pain in his stomach and saw Naruto's elbow in it. Naruto then hit Goku with a hard axe handle, making him fall to the ground. Vegeta noticed, Kakarot should have been able to feel the boy's energy and stop that attack. Yes, if Naruto was only in his Majestic Saiyan 2 form, it would be hard to find him. But because he's also in Sage Mode, he can blend his ki into the trees, grass, air, water, and any other natural life. Even in Super Saiyan Blue, it would be hard to find him. When Vegeta saw this, he was surprised and looked at Whis. Then he looked at Kakarot, who quickly burst out of the small crater, making a gust of wind. When the two Saiyans' fists hit each other, they made a big shockwave, and each blow made a small shockwave that was a mix of blue and white. The two warriors were flying around and throwing kicks, blocks, and more punches. Their elbows kept hitting each other, which made the aura around them get bigger. They tried to kick each other but were blocked, so they punched back. They fought again, and this time the energy around them grew huge. They flew high, leaving blue and white streaks. They split up because they were too far apart. Naruto said, "Why don't we end this by making one last attack?" "I'm up for it," said Goku, taking the challenge. Both of them got into their stances and put their hands behind their backs. Came Haim. A blue orb appeared in Goku's hand. Majestic Spiral. In Naruto's hands, a white orb formed. Ha. Wave. Two of the Saiyans' main moves hit each other and pushed each other back to see who was stronger. Goku and Naruto both sent out more energy, which made their attacks bigger, but they were still locked in battle. They let out one last shout as they pushed everything they could to make their attacks big, causing a bright explosion. Beerus and Whis were used to Vegeta's eyes getting a little close together. Once the light stopped, both Saiyans were tired and panting, but they were still standing. End of 2:52 AMV. They floated down to the ground, where Goku fell on his bottom and started breathing hard. Goku regained his senses and said, "Oh man. Pant. You're strong. But what happened when I tried to sense your ki energy during the fight, and what's with the makeup?" asked the Saiyan. Goku's comment about makeup made Naruto's head tick a little, but he knew Goku wasn't serious. "It's called Sage Mode, and it's like your Kaioken in that it doubles my strength and speed. But to use it, I have to gather natural energy, which I was able to do by combining my Majestic Super Saiyan 2 form with the energy all around us," Naruto said. At the end, he pouted, "So that's why I felt your energy all over the place." Even in my Super Saiyan Blue form, I still couldn't find you. Naruto laughed and said, but for a minute, I really was afraid I wouldn't be able to pull it off. He scratched the back of his head to show that he was serious. Goku said, looks like I need to train harder if I want to fight that Sage mode again. Whis and Beerus went over to talk with them. Wow, you both did a great job, Whis said. Looks like you'll have to train harder, Gaki, Beerus said with a cruel smile, making the majestic Saiyan gag. Same for you, Goku and Vegeta, Whis said with a smile, but the Saiyans swallowed their saliva. Naruto's stomach growled, and he asked everyone, who's hungry? After 3 days. The weeks went by quickly for Naruto, who kept training harder than ever. After his fight with Goku, he realized that he still needed more practice with his Majestic 2 form and Sage mode, so he worked on them even more. He was able to train with Whis in the Angel's Scepter. What surprised him was that time moved much faster than on Beerus's planet, since 3 days of training were equal to 3 years. Because he wore 10 tons of weights on each limb, his speed was now 3 times faster. He had read about some techniques that his father had used, and over time he had mastered them. The first was the Racing Bomb, and the second was a mouth beam called the Break Cannon. He was still working on the last one, which was a better Ki Rasen Shuriken. Naruto asked Whis how he could change into an Uzaru, but the angel didn't know because he had never seen a Majestic Saiyan change into an Uzaru before. He would think about it when he had more time. Right now, Naruto is quickly throwing left and right punches at the angel, who is easily blocking them and avoiding a kick. Naruto had grown almost a foot taller, and the spiky hair on his left side grew more. Today, he wore an orange tank top and weight bands on his wrists. Last, he wore black GI pants and weight boots. When he saw an opening, he went for a right, but Whis blocked it. Quickly thinking, he went for a kick, but Whis again blocked it with ease. When the angel turned around, he tapped the orb on Naruto's nose. It felt like a light punch and made Naruto's head snap back, but it wasn't over yet. Whis thrust the scepter into Naruto's chest, sending him away. The Majestic Saiyan stopped as soon as he regained his balance. He then sped up and threw a punch that almost hit Whis, but he was able to avoid it because Whis had a hold on him from behind. Naruto changed into his MSSJ2 and threw the angel over his shoulder. The angel landed on his feet. Naruto ran at the angel, who was now throwing Whis lightning-fast combo attacks that Whis was blocking with his scepter. With his last attack, he connected Whis' scepter with a hard ki punch, making a blast of wind and a shockwave. The angel smiled and said, "Okay, Naruto. It looks like your training for this time is over." Naruto fell and landed on his back and his bottom. I wonder how strong Goku and Vegeta are right now. Whis sweated. Naruto-san, it's been only 3 days since you fought Goku and Vegeta, he said. Naruto scratched the back of his head sheepishly and said, oh, right. I keep forgetting we're in your scepter. Alright, it's time to go back, Whis said as he tapped the ground with his scepter. Everything started to glow, and soon they were back on Beerus's planet. Beerus said as he relaxed in a lounge chair with his hands folded behind his head, it's about time you two got back. It looks like you've been having fun, my lord, Whis said. Beerus took a sip of his drink through a straw and said, what can I say? Naruto left while the Angel and Destroyer were talking because he had to do something. Once he was back in his regular clothes, he went into the woods and found a place to sit. He crossed his legs and closed his eyes to focus. The word, mindscape. Naruto's eyes popped open as he found himself in a familiar sewer. He looked up and followed the pipes. As he kept following the pipes, he stopped when he felt someone behind him. He quickly turned around, but there was no one there. Naruto was startled when he slowly turned around again and saw himself with its head down. He moved closer until he was only a few feet away. Whose are you? He asked why. Instead of blue eyes, what Naruto saw when the clone raised its head was a surprise. They were very dark, but the iris was red like blood. He showed a smile. I'm you, but the dark side of you. What is it? Naruto didn't understand. Don't be silly, I am the hate you made all those years ago, from the first day you walked until now. I'm the truth you've been avoiding for so long. Just call me Menma, the man with the name Menma said with a dark laugh. What's the truth? Insisted on Naruto. The truth about how you really feel about Konohagakure and its people, the ones who called you a monster, kicked you out of the orphanage, and treated you like a demon. Menma grunted and used ki energy to push Naruto away. Menma changed into Majestic Saiyan 2, but dark energy had mixed with the white energy, so Naruto quickly changed into his Majestic Saiyan 2 form. Both people charged at each other and hit each other with punches and kicks, which caused a spark. Naruto caught the punch and tried to knee Menma, but Menma blocked the attack with his own knee. Menma then hit Naruto in the face, breaking his nose. Naruto winced in pain, and he felt a punch to the stomach that sent him tumbling to the ground. He flipped himself up and had just avoided ki blasts. He went for a left kick, but Menma caught it and threw him hard into the wall, making Naruto cough up a big glob of blood. Menma came up and stood in front of him. "Why do you keep fighting me? Why don't you just be who you really are?" He hit Naruto's body with a barrage of punches, making him cough up more blood and feel a grip on his throat as he tried to break free. Naruto sputtered, "Never. You really are a loser." Menma said that he took him out of the wall and threw him across the ground. He tried to get up, but Menma kicked him in the face, sending him flying into the air. Menma used him as a punching bag, and then he was hit with an axe, making a hole in the ground. "Now you're starting to get on my nerves. I gave you a chance, but you won't take it." Menma fell down and slammed his foot into Naruto's chest, making a crack in the web below. He coughed up more blood and could feel his change going away. Deftone. 0 to 16 AMV, change. When he opened his eyes, he was confused. How? How can I beat him? He knows all my moves and tricks, and he can also change shape. This can't be the end, right? I promised to fight Goku again, but I still have to help my friends with the war. I can't let down Ba-chan, Sakura, or Hinata. Menma made a blade out of black ki energy and gave a grin. When I'm done with you, I'll get my revenge on Konoha and make your two most valuable women my slaves. Naruto's eyes got big when he heard this, and he felt a rush of anger. He yelled as he changed into his MSSJ and threw Menma off, who was shocked. He kept yelling as his energy kept getting stronger and stronger. The mindscape began to shake, and soon a bright light covered it. Menma put his hands up to block the light from his eyes and growled, "How is this possible? Where is this power coming from?" Once the light stopped, Naruto was in his MSSJ2 form, but his white aura turned into a solid white glow that surrounded his body. Naruto gave Menma an angry look. What Naruto did know was that he had unlocked a new stage for MSSJ2, Ultimate MSSJ2. No, this can't be happening. You will accept who you really are. Menma yelled and charged at Naruto, but Naruto stopped him with one hand. It doesn't matter. You can't win, says Naruto. Menma laughed at this and tried another punch, which was easily blocked. He then tried a knee, but the same thing happened, which shocked Menma. I warned you, Naruto said as he grabbed Menma's wrists and slammed him to the ground 3 times. He then threw Menma up with a kick, disappeared, and hit Menma in the back with an elbow, sending him into the wall. Menma got out of it and charged Naruto with punches at lightning speed, but Naruto dodged them easily, as if he wasn't even trying. How? How? Menma yelled in anger as he kept attacking, but he couldn't land a single punch. Naruto dodged the punches and kicked Menma in the chin, sending him flying into the pipes. As Menma was falling, Naruto hit him with several fast punches to the body in a hard right, slamming him into the ground and making a big crack in the web. Menma winced at the pain, made a keyblade in his arm, and went to slash Naruto, who had flipped backwards to avoid it. Naruto stretched out his right arm to make the keyblade, which shone very brightly. As they attacked each other, their swords clashed together, making a huge spark. They fought evenly for a minute, until Naruto started to move faster and hit harder, pushing Menma away. They locked their blades together until Naruto put out his left palm and shot Menma with ki energy, sending him flying across the ground. Naruto turned off his keyblade and walked over to Menma, who was on his knees and coughing up blood. He stood in front of him. He had a quiet talk with himself. This wasn't supposed to happen. I was supposed to be free, away from this darkness and loneliness. Naruto heard sadness in his voice, and it made him think of his own lonely childhood. He got down on one knee and looked at Menma, who looked up at him. He gave her a hug, which was a surprise. You're not alone. I realize now that I did need you, but not because I hated you, but because you made me stronger. Reminding me of what the villagers said about me only made me more determined to show them wrong. You won't be alone again. Menma was frozen, and tears soon started to form. Her eyes had changed back to their usual blue color. He began to lose his strength. "Thank you," was the last thing Menma said before he died. End of 3:00 AMV. Naruto got back on his feet and went in the direction of the Kyubi energy. When he finally got there, he saw two huge golden gates with a paper seal and the creature behind them. As usual, the Kyubi no Kitsune gave an evil look. "We haven't seen each other in a long time, and you give me a mean look. Didn't you miss me?" He made a joke about the majestic Saiyan. The Kyubi growled, "Naruto." Naruto rose up on air. "Yeah. What happened to the real one?" "I don't feel him," the Kyubi said. The paper was in front of Naruto. As he tore off the paper and found the lock, he said, "This is Maya, the real me." When he saw the seal on his stomach, he pulled up his orange tunic and long-sleeve shirt and held them between his teeth. He pulled his right sleeve back, and the key appeared on his arm. His fingers had blue chakra on them. He slammed his hand down on the seal. He looked a little unsure, but he had a determined look on his face and opened the gate. The lock started to open, and then there was a loud click. The Kyubi rushed out of the gates with a scary roar, but it didn't bother Naruto. He changed into his ultimate MSSJ2 and charged. He kept moving out of the way of the Kyubi's tails and disappeared when a claw came at him. He suddenly appeared above the Kyubi and kicked it in the face, sending it backwards across the water. "Nani?" The Kyubi was surprised, but it didn't have time to think because Naruto came out of nowhere and started throwing punches so fast that the Kyubi had to use its tails to block as it was being pushed back. He gave the Kitsune a hard kick that sent its back into the wall. Kyubi shook his head to clear it and glared at the Saiyan with a growl. "You're an insect." The Kyubi yelled in anger, lifted its head, and opened its mouth as a big purple orb grew. When the orb got smaller, the Kyubi ate it. When the Kyubi opened its mouth and got ready to shoot a beam, Naruto was confused, but his eyes got very big. Naruto pulled his arms back quickly and cupped his hands together, making a white ki energy. A spiral wave of majesty. Naruto yelled and thrust his hands forward, firing the attack. Kyubi fired the beam, and the two attacks hit each other. Naruto put more of his ki into his technique, which made it stronger than the Kyubi's attack. The blast hit the beast in the chest and sent it skidding across the ground. Naruto ran at the Kitsune and avoided a claw swipe from it. He grabbed the Biju's paw, flipped it over his shoulder, and slammed it down on the ground. While he sat and thought, Naruto made a Kage Bushinki to fight the Kyubi. The ki clone of Naruto punched the Kyubi in the face and kicked it hard, making it stumble back and fall. Naruto opened his eyes while he was in Sage mode, but it felt different. This was the first time he had used Sage mode with his ultimate MSSJ2. The Kyubi sat up and growled, but he was surprised when Naruto appeared in front of him very quickly. Naruto gave the Biju a right hook, which made it crash into a wall. He then ran at the beast and grabbed it. He felt a pull, so he pulled back and a stream of red chakra came out. Naruto pulled harder and harder until he felt something that sent shivers down his spine. Kill the monster. Evil spirit. Get even. How come you killed my brother? Naruto heard so many words that made him think of his childhood or other bad things that it made his red chakra pull him. He tried hard to pull the Kyubi chakra back, but he was losing strength. Just as he thought he couldn't do it anymore, he heard something. Are you really giving up? A warrior never gives up, and he will keep fighting until he dies. AMV. Shippuden Heaven Shake Event Ost. When he heard this, Naruto's eyes got big, and they soon turned into determination. He set his teeth together. I never give up, that's my nindo, my way of being a ninja. Naruto roared as his energy got stronger and he started to pull back the beast's chakra. The Kyubi was surprised at first, but then it got angry. Naruto made a cross sign and smirked at the Kyubi. The Taji Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. A large group of shadow clones formed a Rasengan and flew toward the beast. Multiple Rasing Bomb. They yelled as they threw the ki-made Rasengan at the Kyubi, but when it hit the Kyubi, it exploded. The explosion quickly covered the Kyubi and blew it away, but the fight wasn't over yet. One of Naruto's jumped and huffed. The Kyubi stood up, but they didn't know what would happen next. Naruto came in with a roar that sounded like an ape and shot a big beam of white energy at the Kyubi, making them move away even more. The real Naruto flew up high toward the Biju. The Rasen Shuriken formed, but the color started to change to white and the whistle sounds of the blades got louder. "It's all over for you," he said, Rasen Ki Shuriken, as he slammed the attack into the face. Naruto yelled as the technique grew and sent the beast flying away. The Kyubi thought, "What is this power?" as it kept getting blasted back until it fell. Soon, Naruto could feel the Kyubi chakra flowing into him, and everything turned bright. End of 102 AMV. Once the light stopped shining, his whole body glowed yellow like a flickering flame. His orange, sleeveless tunic was now black with yellow designs of tomos down the middle. His sleeves were marked with black lines, and his red iris had a hole in the middle of it. His hair still had the look of majesty. Naruto looked at his hands, then at the water's reflection. "So this is what the Kyubi no Kitsune can do," he said, shocked. When Kyubi saw this, he felt nothing but anger. "Naruto, you bastard!" roared the Kyubi as it opened its mouth and started to make a big Biju bomb. "You still have that much power? You are really strong." Naruto said that he was telling the truth. He put his right hand on the seal and turned it. Soon, a red lock slammed down on the Kyubi's neck, stopping the Biju's attack. Soon after, the giant golden gates shut and the seal was locked again. Pay attention. Naruto Uzumaki's. The beast was taken over by darkness. Naruto let out a sigh of relief. "I knew you could do it," a voice said, startling him. When he turned around and saw who it was, he knew who it was. "Dad?" Naruto asked cautiously, but when he saw a smile, he felt at ease. "I'm proud of you. Never give up, no matter what, because you are a warrior, don't forget that." Minato smiled as he went out of sight. Naruto smiled and went out of his mindscape. The real world. When Naruto opened his eyes, he saw that the flames on his hands were yellow and flickering. He said, "I did it." "Well, this is interesting," a voice from behind Naruto said, making him turn around to see Beerus and Whis, his sensei. "I agree, so you can start talking, Gaki." Beerus said this in a serious way. Naruto sighed as he told them about the fight he, Menma, and the Kyubi had to get the chakra from the beast. "That's just about it," says Naruto. Whis was intrigued by this form and eager to learn more about this new power. Every day, the Gaki made Beerus more and more impressed. "Get some rest. I'm going to test your new power tomorrow, so get ready." What Beerus said. "Okay, sensei," he said with a bow, and he left. The Gaki gets stronger almost every day, so it won't surprise me if he's ready to be a destroyer in a few years. Beerus told us. Sounds like someone has a soft spot, Whis laughed. Beerus's eyes got very big. He yelled, "Don't be stupid," and walked away. "I'm taking a nap. See you tomorrow." Whis groaned and shook his head.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.